Yeah, so he let us through. He's like, all right, don't get me in trouble. And that's all he said. And then we went to the security guard on the stage, and it was like some girl, which absolutely loved us. Didn't even look at our wristband. She was too busy like getting goo-goo eyes for some reason. So she's just like, oh, hey, yeah, go out, whatever. So yeah, we walk up. So she lets us by. And we literally just walk up the stairs and meet up with Andrew and enjoy Slushy's set.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 4 of the podcast. Today, May 28th, 2017, is my 23rd birthday. Woohoo! This is the date of the intro being recorded and the date this podcast will be released. But this conversation with my buddy Tyler was recorded a couple weeks ago. But yeah, it's my birthday. I don't really feel any different, to be honest. Just another year, I guess. It's funny how much importance is placed on birthdays, you know? Like, in one sense, there's no real significance. Each day that we're on this earth is a miracle. No day is more important than the other. It's all about what you do in each day. You know, every day is a miracle. Simply a day. How you apply yourself and treat that day is what makes it amazing. In another sense, there's tons of significance. Another successful trip on this little green spaceship floating around this glowing ball of fire that seems to keep us all alive. That's pretty cool. But either way, I'm extremely grateful to be alive and to be in this position to be reaching all of you lovely people. And if my voice is traveling through your eardrums right now, I am quite appreciative. And thank you very much. But oh no, did you forget to buy me a birthday present? Shoot. Well, hey, no worries. You can still give me a present. It's really easy. All you have to do is go to the iTunes store or the podcast app if you have an iPhone. All you gotta do is go to iTunes or go to the podcast app if you have an iPhone and leave me a 5-star review and write a little caption. It takes 2 minutes at the most. And it's really gonna help me get this podcast out to more people. So if you're feeling like being awesome, and it is my birthday, don't forget, I'm totally guilting you into this, but seriously, if you can go on there and write a little review, leave it 5 stars, and let me know what you like, what you don't like, and wish me a happy birthday. That would be amazing. All right. My guest today is my new friend, Tyler Small. I say new friend because at the time of this recording, we'd actually only known each other for about a week. Excuse me. We met at a music festival called Shaky Beats in line to grab a beer. And we just hit it off. We instantly kind of clicked. And from the moment I met Tyler, I knew he was somebody that I wanted to be friends with. And after a week of knowing him, I asked him to be on the podcast, which isn't weird at all. He was totally down. But on this episode, we talk about growing up skateboarding, being a model, streetwear, fashion, sneakers, and as seasoned veterans of sneaking backstage, we tell the story of how we snuck backstage at Shaky Beats a few weekends ago and met some of our favorite DJs, and the do's and the don'ts of getting back there. But you'll just have to listen to find out. Give it up for Tyler Small. All right, Tyler. What's up, dude?
What's
We're
up?
Live?
Yep.
All right, awesome. So, me and Tyler were just talking about my kind of reasoning for making this podcast, and I was saying one of my big aspirations is basically to be able to use it to travel. So I have a lot of friends that are in different countries, different states, and all that kind of stuff. And my big aspiration would be to travel and hit them up and then get them on the podcast and stuff.
Get people's opinions from all around the world and on different things like festivals and
like literally everything.
Culture.
I kind of don't really want to put myself into a box too hard
right.
with the podcast because I think a lot of people, oh, this is the Andrew Deitsch Fitness Podcast, or
Yeah,
this is the
gotcha.
whatever music festival podcast. And like, I have a lot of different interests and I have a lot of different friends. And I think that having, you know, I don't want to corner myself too hard.
Yeah.
Because then I don't want to, you know, I don't know.
So you're just going to go into everything, like culture, food.
Pretty much everything
music.
I'm into.
Yeah.
We'll hit it up. So,
cool.
But anyway, so this is my friend Tyler Small. We actually met like last week, which is crazy. But dude, like, honestly, I feel like we've been friends for like a while, which is weird to think about.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew's been like the coolest person I've met at any festival, and I've been to at least like 7. I've been to like Tomorrow World and stuff, but
that's awesome.
We started talking because he knows my brother, Blob's Art.
Yeah.
He does artwork for Owsla and other things.
So we were at this music festival called Shaky Beats, which is like a electronic music festival in Atlanta. It's actually like pretty small, you know. It was like 3 days.
Second year doing it this year.
Yeah, second year doing it. They had 3 stages of music and all that kind of stuff. So like it wasn't that super huge, but some pretty big headliners. They had like the Chainsmokers.
Yeah.
They had like Getter. Who else was there? Joyride. Miha. Rez, trying to think of
Slander.
Yeah, Slander. That was pretty huge. But yeah, so basically like lots of dubstep, lots of, you know, some hip hop and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, it was the first day that we met, right, on Friday.
Yeah, I met him Friday, and that was the first day of the festival.
Yeah.
Or met you Friday.
Yeah. And I think that I remember I saw you and you were wearing like an Owsla shirt.
Yeah.
And it was like bleached and stuff.
Yeah, bleached tie-dyed.
And so for people who are listening that don't know what the heck Owsla is, it's basically it's Skrillex's record label in the simplest terms. And it has this like kind of cool, simplistic, linear symbol. And I was wearing an Owsla hat too. And my brother, I think, was wearing an Owsla hat. And Tyler's wearing an Owsla shirt. We just kind of like started talking. I don't even remember exactly how we started talking, but I think that was it.
I think I met you in the beer line.
Yeah, we were in the beer line with his buddy Graham, and we started talking and stuff, and then he mentioned that his brother is Blob's Art, which he just said. And for those of you listening, Blob's Art, he's an artist that's done a lot of artwork for Owsla. What other stuff?
He did
stuff for like Jack U.
Yeah, he did a Jack U little collection. He has some other things in the work. I don't know what's set in stone, but I mean, he's staying busy with it.
That's really awesome. And he's your younger brother, right?
Yeah, he's 18.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. At 18.
He's getting a good early start on things.
That's so awesome, man. I love that. That's one of my biggest things about this podcast too, is I want to like promote creators, and like, you know, I think in society we tend to look up to, you know, the like traditional model. Especially, you know, looking up to, you know, my parents, they kind of went the traditional route, and then kind of deviated from that a little bit. But yeah, so Tyler, I literally just met you like last weekend, but I knew you were cool as fuck, and I wanted to talk to you because I was like, this guy's cool. Like, we clicked instantly. Like the next day of the festival, we like hung out at his hotel and stuff. And, like, we basically just hung out the rest of the weekend, which is really tight.
Which is rare, because that usually doesn't happen when you meet people. I mean,
it is pretty rare. I feel like you don't really hit it off with people that heavy. Like,
you might just hang out with them that first day and then, like, say hey or whatever the second day, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yo, what's up? I met you yesterday. But, like, we hit it off. It was really cool. But, so anyways, tell me, like, a little bit. I have this concept that I've been, like, going on with my last few podcasts. And I think today we kind of, or just in general, when you think of somebody, like, for example, if I see your mom, I just met your mom. Yeah. And, like, I see her and I see, you know, a grown woman. I don't picture her as, like, all the things that led up to where she is today, right? I don't think of her as, like, an infant. Right. And so I think that, like, right now I've met how old are you, Tyler?
23.
23? So I've met the 23-year-old Tyler. But take me back to baby Tyler and like how you got to where you are today. Not like, you know, the whole story, but take me back. So like, where were you born?
So born and raised in Atlanta. I was kind of a shithead kid, honestly.
Me, like how? What'd you get into?
Like I just completely terrorized my younger brother and sister, just your typical dickhead older brother.
So you're the oldest of 3?
Yeah, I'm the oldest of 3.
And how old's your sister?
She's 20, and then my brot's 18.
Nice. So you guys are pretty close?
Yeah, pretty close.
Are you close today, or... I mean, it seems like you're close with your brother.
Yeah. My sister's... And you're
still close with your sister?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, yeah, started out as a shithead kid. Played a lot of sports like baseball and, did your typical, preteen shit.
Yeah.
And video games, stuff like that. And then I picked up skateboarding, and then I started to get into the whole like urban like clothing, like streetwear / skateboarding culture.
That's cool.
And that's kind of like what motivated my brother to do what he's doing. We kind of got into like art together and
that's so cool. Like
clothing,
graffiti and stuff.
Yeah, graffiti artists like Cause.
Yeah, I love Cause. Yeah,
stuff like that. And then that kind of led to like getting into sneakers, and like right now I'm kind of flipping sneakers on eBay. I have my own little eBay store.
Nice.
And
that's cool. So you say you got into skateboard culture, like. As for me, like I was always playing the Tony Hawk games, and I was aspired to be a skateboarder, and like I love that whole idea of being in that scene.
Right.
But like I was too much of a pussy to ever like actually like
step on a board.
I had a board,
yeah.
But like I was too much of a pussy to like try anything that hard because I was afraid I was gonna get hurt.
Right.
What kind of like brought you over that like bridged the gap for you? Were you just kind of like I don't care, like I want to be cool, or like
I met this kid named Brandon in freshman year of high school. And I went to his older brother's birthday party with him when I started hanging out with him. And then we had a mutual friend named Aaron, and they both skateboarded together. So we went to this kid's birthday party, or Brandon's older brother's birthday party, and they had their skateboards. They were skating out in the parking lot, and I was like, damn, that looks fun as shit. Like, I want to get into that. So they give me their board, and I'm wearing some fucking Nike Shocks. So I'm completely not prepared for what I'm about to do.
Nike Shocks might be the worst skateboarding shoes. Besides like flip-flops.
I know, right?
You got like a pointed toe and like the weird... that's
the whole
funny.
grip is off and everything. But yeah. So
that's funny.
I was just trying to just go off a curb, and I did not know that I'm supposed to like lean back and put pressure on the tail of the board, and I just completely eat shit. And for me to get back up and like still want to do that is what like made me realize like this shit's fun as hell, and I kind of had a passion for it. So I did it for like about 6 years.
That's
I
awesome.
got pretty good. I have some videos on YouTube. I can't find them. They're from so long ago.
That's crazy.
I live near Duncan Creek Skate Park, so that was
so
where
you were hitting that up all the time. That's so cool, man.
Me and a group of friends had like a bunch of little edits that we put together and
nice.
stuff. So, yeah.
There's definitely that culture of skateboarding that like you get into video and all that because like you want to share.
Right.
And I think like growing up in the time period that we did was like the perfect time for that because YouTube was just growing.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to like print VHS tapes and be sponsored to like share your tapes. Like you could literally take out your shitty flip phone and take a video and put it on YouTube.
Exactly.
And actually looking back, it's pretty funny. Did you ever like the ripstick kind of thing?
Oh yeah.
It was like caster boards.
Mm-hmm.
So there was another version of it called the Wave. It was from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, I was like I was super into that. My friend Nathan, and actually it was funny because Nathan, I want to get him on the podcast eventually. Nathan, if you're listening to this, I'm definitely going to share this podcast with you. He lives out in Colorado right now, but he actually reminds me a lot of you because Nathan growing up kind of got into that skateboard vibe. And me and Nathan actually went and like tagged some spots growing up with graffiti. Yeah, it was actually not even really growing up. It was like once he was in college, we went and tagged this spot in Athens where he was going to school, which is crazy. Okay. But yeah, so Nathan, what's up? But yeah, Nathan got me into the Wave, and that was like this Australian casterboard thing before the ripstick was cool. Mm-hmm. And so I was super into that, and I actually sent some videos to the company, Street Surfing, which is the company, and they sent me like some free stuff. They sent me like some wheels, and they said, we like your videos, send us more videos. But they couldn't they liked a lot of my videos, but they couldn't. They said they couldn't accept some of them because I wasn't wearing a helmet.
Oh, really?
And I was just like, I'm such a loser wearing a helmet. Like, I don't want to post YouTube videos wearing a helmet. So I kind of was just like, nah, fuck that. Like, I'll just take these free wheels and just keep going. So I actually have a video, which is pretty funny, on YouTube that has like, I think like 40,000 views.
What?
It's called the ultimate wave, scooter, and skateboard video. You can find it if you search that. But the reason why it has so many views is because the Wave came out with a thing called the Wave Scooter. And so people were typing in the keyword wave scooter. And so since my video was called the ultimate wave scooter and skateboard video.
You found a little loophole.
Yeah, and so if you look at my YouTube analytics, it's like one view for like years and years. And then when the wave scooter came out, it like skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And there was no videos on YouTube of this wave scooter
That's
that they were releasing. So my video had like, it literally I think has like 40 or 50,000 views, which is hilarious.
Did you get paid or anything for that?
It wasn't monetized. So I hadn't set up AdSense or whatever on my channel, and but that's my little, it's just pretty funny.
So say you did set it up, would you get paid for it then?
Yeah, so basically like, I think the way that AdSense works is like, YouTube puts ads on your video, and that advertiser's paying YouTube obviously, and then they kind of give you a little bit of a cut.
Okay.
And I know that in the creator like studio of YouTube, you can choose what kind of ads play. So like, they used to have those little banner ones that popped up and you had to click an X. They was just like text.
Yeah.
And now they have the video ones that play before, and you have to like skipping in 1, 2, 3 or whatever, 3, 2, 1. So those ads like pay more. But anyways, that's not that important. But that was my little claim to fame with the ultimate wave scooter and skateboard video. So but the wave, I was never that great, and I never got hurt, so like I kept going with it. But yeah, so you're kind of into that whole scene of like skateboarding and stuff like that. And then was your brother kind of got into it too because of you? Is that how it kind of happened?
He kind of jumbled around with what he was wanting to do. First, he started like aggressive like inline skating.
Yeah.
So he started doing that. I know, right? And then he like got into. Well, let me take that back. He started skateboarding, and then he started aggressive inlining, and then he went to scootering.
Yeah. I was into scootering too.
And then he went back to inline skating, and then he's been with skateboarding after he quit that. So he skateboards now.
Oh, nice. He still skates?
Yeah, he
still skate?
Yeah, I can.
Sometimes?
Like,
well,
it's kind of like second nature to me now. Like, obviously,
like riding a bike.
Yeah, I haven't skated in a while, so I did lose like some of the more technical things I could do, but I can still do your basic stuff and like cruise a bowl really good. Yeah,
nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I think cruising a bowl is almost kind of like riding a bike, because like once you get the how you need to move. Yeah, because one thing that I've been super into, it's kind of lame, but my friend Nathan again. When I lived with him in Athens for like a little period of time, and he had some penny boards, and we would take penny boards out on the streets. And so I got decent at a penny board, and me and my brother actually went when we were in California like last year. We bought some penny boards, and it was super fun because we just like went around. And once you kind of get that carving motion down, it's so fun, man. When you can like carve a hill and go down, you know how you need to lean and stuff. Yeah, it can get really fun.
Now I will say like, skating at skate park's fun, but like just cruising through downtown Atlanta is so much more fun to me. Like just the scenery and just like you literally feel like free, and you like weave around people and stuff. It feels like really authentic, and like especially when you're with like a group of friends that are all on skateboards, it's a cool feeling. But I feel like that's like the ultimate, like like we're some rebel kids. Exactly. These people don't want us to skate here. We're gonna skate on this sidewalk. For real. And security guards will start chasing you. You know what's funny is this summer actually, I kind of forgot about this. This is where I also was getting really good at pennyboarding. So I don't know if I've told you this. So I was an au pair. The past 2 summers. Do you know what an au pair is? So basically an au pair is kind of like a live-in nanny for like a family that typically they want their kids to learn a new language. So like they have this au pair so that like the au pair will speak with them in a different language, and they'll kind of pick up on that. So 2 summers ago I was an au pair in Italy. So I was there for the whole summer with this family in Italy. And then last summer I was an au pair in Spain, in Madrid, which was pretty dope. And funny enough, the family I stay with in Madrid, there's this sports store there called Decathlon, and they sell all kinds of stuff, and they sell like knockoff penny boards there. Oh, really? And so they had one, and I was like, I can ride this, like I know what's up. And the kids had bikes and skates and all this stuff, and I couldn't ride their bikes because they were tiny. Yeah. And so I was like, yo, can I use this penny board? And the host family was so cool, like my host mom and dad, coolest parents ever, and so like.
they were like, yeah, of course. Like, if you want to ride this, they thought it was a skateboard for kids because it's so tiny.
Okay.
They didn't realize that like adults
Yeah.
and like, you know, older kids would
Right.
ride them. They thought it was literally a skateboard for kids because it's so
real,
tiny.
yeah.
So I would take the train or the bus down into the inner city and ride around in the parks and stuff. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Man. And like you said, you know, riding on the sidewalk and like,
Yeah,
you know,
just-
people are looking at you and you're just like
Exactly.
weaving around people and stuff. It was fun, man.
Yeah, I always those penny boards were fun, man. I just can't. It's hard for me to ride them with my big ass body.
Yeah. How tall are you, by the way?
I'm 6'3".
6'3".
I wear a size 11.5 shoe, so.
Yeah. It definitely can. It's hard.
I like the I don't
nickel?
know the Zip Zingers.
What's that?
It's a brand it's a skateboard that's like smaller and it's more like an old school shape. That it's a brand called Crooked that makes them.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that
yeah,
company.
I used to have one of those and that was really fun.
That's
And,
cool.
you get the big like soft wheels.
Yeah,
So
those
they're
cruising
super
wheels, you
smooth.
can just kind
Yeah.
of eat little pebbles and
Yeah,
stuff.
for real. Yep.
And just and
Get
you
on
can
rough
carve
country.
super good because
Yeah.
the grip is awesome and they're really fat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's kind of that's really my kind of skateboarding that I'm like better at. I'm not so good at like the ollies and the kick flips and all
Right,
that. And I
yeah.
kind of wish I was. Like I can hold my own on a skateboard. I can kind of ride around a skate park, but like I can't really like do much to be
Right.
honest. But that's really cool, man. I was gonna say something about skating in Madrid, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, one cool thing was when I was skating in Madrid, there was this one park called Retiro Park, and it was right at the time when Pokemon Go was coming out. Did you play Pokemon Go at all?
I did for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this park had so many Pokestops and all this stuff.
Oh wow!
And
it
so
was
like
hard to
I
skate.
it was awesome because I would skate around to all the stops.
Okay.
And you know how you got like if you walked more, you got more like you could like
yeah,
level up.
You hatch your eggs.
Yeah, you could hatch your eggs.
Yeah.
And skateboarding was just slow enough that I could hatch my
Okay.
eggs, but not quite fast enough that it would think I was driving.
Right.
So I would skate around and I was hatching hella eggs.
Damn.
Dude, it was really fun. And it was right at the time when it was launching. So it was cool because there was all these kids, and I don't speak that much Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So like there were these kids there, and I knew that they were playing Pokemon because they're just staring at their phones, like
Right.
shouting out Pokemon names in Spanish. They're like, oh, Charizard, Charizard, oh, Pikachu. You know, like they're like, it was so
Yeah.
funny. So I'm like, oh yeah, Pokemon, yeah. And like most of the kids there can speak English because like in school they kind of learn it and they watch
Okay.
American shows and you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So most people can kind of carry on somewhat of a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually met like a decent number of people in
Really?
the parks just from playing Pokemon, which is pretty funny and kind of childish, but it was so fun.
So when you went to these places to like
Au pair.
stay with these,
Yeah.
au pair.
It's like a French
Is
word, I
it
think.
is it like some website that you go through?
Great question. Yeah, I actually haven't talked about this on the podcast yet, so this is actually great. This is kind of cool because like we actually don't really know each other that well, like as far as background and stuff, so we can share some cool stories.
Yeah.
So au pair, so the way that you kind of do it these days, back in the day, I think you had to go through like an au pair agency
Okay.
that would kind of pair you with a family that they'd already vetted and talked to, and you know, sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't because you couldn't really correspond with them that well besides by like letter or phone call,
Right.
you know, like back in the
Yeah.
day. But now with the internet, think of it almost kind of like a dating website. So like
Yeah.
on a dating website, you create a profile and the girl creates a profile, and based on your criteria, you can kind of see your top matches or whatever.
Yeah.
And it kind of works the same way. So you can say like, you know, I'm 22, I have this experience working with kids. So I'd like worked at a camp before and like babysat my neighbors and stuff like that. I was good with kids. You know, I want to travel to these 5 countries. I think it gives you like 5 options of countries just so it's not like so broad, and you can
Right.
switch it up. But and then it says like, do you smoke? You know, are you cool with pets? You know, do you want to work with boys? Do you want to work with girls? You know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you kind of you have like these matches, and I use the website aupairworld.com. It's just
Okay.
the one that I ended up using.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them, but it's not an agency, and there's no contracts or anything, which is kind of cool. And you can actually use it for free. Like there is a paid model where there's like a pro version where you can send out like, I think you were limited to how many applications you could send out.
Okay.
But I mean, if you go through each profile, you can kind of tell before sending out an application if you like them or not.
Yeah.
And then kind of the way that it works, you know, I found a couple families. I Skyped with them, so I was able to kind of like talk with them a bit. The first time I was in Italy, so the parents were both like lawyers, and
Right.
they were pretty cool. They had 2 boys. I think they were like 6 and 8, so they were like not too old, but like, you know, still young enough where they were cool, and like
Right.
wouldn't have to like wipe their butts or anything like that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
They could kind of like do their own thing enough, and yeah. So that's how you kind of
Okay.
like find the families.
So,
Yeah.
So like, did you have to fly yourself out and everything?
Yeah, so
Okay.
basically the way that it works is like the traditional model is if you want to work overseas, you've got to get like a visa, right?
Right.
So the kind of loophole around that is since they're pretty much paying for like all of your expenses while you're there, that's
Yeah.
kind of how they're paying you. And then they also give you like quote unquote pocket money.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So like you can go out, or you can like go take this bus, or you know,
Yeah.
you can do stuff. But you know, most of the time, you know, if you spend your money right and you're not going out to eat like all the time, and you know, you can kind of save a decent amount. So
Yeah.
actually, the first summer, I actually came home with a decent amount of, you know, not a lot of money by any means,
Right.
but I came home with some money rather than just like spending tons out of my
Yeah.
pocket.
Well-
So my main expense was the flight there and the flight back, but they
Gotcha.
pretty much pay for everything while I'm there.
Well, it's almost like worth the.
Oh, it's totally worth
It's
it.
worth it just like going there and like experiencing a new place.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Even if you don't get paid, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Like you
exactly.
get paid with being there and experiencing like, you know,
Exactly.
someplace new.
Yeah,
So-
and like traveling, like, and actually when I went to Italy, that was the first time I'd really like, I'd been to Mexico on like a cruise, but I hadn't really like been to another country, let alone like by myself,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy. And a lot of people were like, "Oh my gosh, are you scared?" Like blah blah blah, you know, all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And I just kind of like went for it, and it was an awesome experience. So if you're out there listening and you're curious about doing it, and it seems something awesome, like you should definitely do it. It was one of the coolest experiences of my life, and obviously I did it twice. So
Yeah. Would you
did
do it
with
again?
A different family. I would do it again, and actually the only reason why I'm not doing it this summer is pretty much. I'm working with a company in Alpharetta, and basically I was kind of talking with them about how I can, you know, make more money and move up in the company and stuff. And basically they were kind of saying, well, last summer you kind of went to Spain for 3 months,
Yeah.
and we can't really afford to like train someone into a new position and then just kind of like have them dip out for
Yeah.
a quarter of the year.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So basically I kind of gave them a verbal commitment that I would be sticking around for a while. So
Okay.
that's my main reason. But probably my host dad will probably be listening to this podcast. Actually, I'm going to send it to him for sure. And he was really awesome, and from Spain, and he really wants me to come back this summer. The family wants me to come back, but
That's great.
you know, unfortunately, it's just
So,
not
like,
happening.
When you go out there and you like meet these families, they still keep in contact even after you leave. I guess because you're like with them for such a long
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
time that you build like a good bond with them. I
Yeah,
guess, right?
and like it was cool, especially last summer, because me and the host dad,
Yeah.
he was pretty. The parents were fairly young, and like me and the dad like became really good friends, which is really cool. Like the first time I did it, I didn't have as much of that connection with the parents. You know, they
Yeah.
were really cool, and they still like. I'm actually going out for a short trip to Europe this summer. I'm going to Tomorrowland again.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm flying into Milan, where my Italian host family lived, and I talked to them, and you know, I might visit them for a little bit. We'll have
Yeah.
to see how it goes. But like they're super inviting back as well. But the family from Italy, the family from Spain, like the dad, we after dinner, the Spanish people, they eat dinner really late typically.
Okay. Yeah.
And in summer, the days are really long. So, like, it was still light out at, like, 9 p.m. Like, it's pretty crazy. So, like, at 9 p.m., like, we'd start having dinner, like, on their little balcony.
Yeah.
Like, overlooking their little, they kind of lived in this little apartment complex thing, and it was cool. It had a little courtyard. And me and the dad would, like, have these, you know, sometimes, like, 2 or 3 hour conversations, almost like a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, where we were just talking about everything, man. Like, politics. It was before the election, so I'm talking about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because, you know, I was in a totally different country on the other side of the world talking about American politics
Yeah.
and talking about, you know, his upbringing, and it was just a really awesome experience. We had some really cool connections.
Cool. Was the weather hot out there?
Yeah, dude, Madrid is like super dry.
Really?
Some days it was like 100 degrees. But the cool thing about dry climates, like in Georgia, if it's hot, and you're in the shade, it's still really hot because it's humid.
Humid, yeah. The humidity here is killer.
When you're in Madrid and you're in the shade, it's actually quite bearable because there's typically somewhat of a breeze, and the breeze can be kind of cool because it's not blowing like humid air on you. So if you can stay in the shade, like you can actually like do pretty good. So you know, a lot of times when I was out in the park skateboarding or whatever, I would just, you know, skateboard around for a while. And it was cool because a lot of times there's like these public drinking fountains. So like I would just have a water bottle in my backpack and I'd fill it up and then just kind of skateboard around for a while, drink a bottle of water, and then find another station, fill it up, and find some shade for a while, get some ice cream or something. Like it was cool. I was just like exploring the city and stuff. It was fun. Yeah,
unfortunately I haven't been out of the country like that yet. The only place close to, like, I guess you could consider out of the country is Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that's cool though. Was that like a family vacation or something?
Yeah, my girlfriend's Puerto Rican, and so we went to visit her family that still lives out there. But I had a blast, man. Like,
it's awesome.
The drinking age down there is 18, first of all. So
at the time you were underage and you were like, heck yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because literally like the day or a couple days before I left for Italy, the first summer I went, it was like right before I turned 21, and so like. It was like, dang it, now I can legally drink, and now I'm going to a country where the drinking age is like 18 and they don't give a shit. It was pretty funny. But yeah, dude, traveling, like, I can, you know, it's changed my life, to be honest. Because you get, like, it's literally like a trip, man. Because, you know, when you're completely taken out of, you know, all of your expectations. All your, you know, your friends are not there. Your family's not there. And I think people today like tend to put a lot of their identity in other things, you know, like what they do for fun, you know, who they hang around with, their family, or, you know, maybe their religion, anything really. And like when you're completely like copy and pasted into like a new environment, like all that is like stripped away. And you know, like if you really don't like know yourself, you kind of almost have like you know, kind of an epiphany, or like I don't even know how to describe it. Like the first time I was out there, it was kind of a trip. Like I was like, holy shit, like this is the first time where I can almost kind of explore like who Andrew is rather than like, you know, who Andrew like everyone else knows, which is it's pretty crazy.
It's like being in a new world.
Yeah. And that's actually something I got into with Ashlyn, which I had like I think episode 2 of the podcast. We talked a lot about that, like finding like who you really are. She's kind of like a hippie sort of person, and it was cool because like we got to talking about how traveling can really like change how you view yourself, and like, you know, you learn so much just being in a different situation. You know, in America, like everything is so predictable, especially being around here, like. Going to the grocery store, it's just like going, you know, it's just like every other time you've gone to the grocery store. You've been doing it since you were 5 years old with your mom or whatever. But like when you're going to the grocery store in a totally different country, it's an adventure, man, because like you don't know where to find the bananas, or you know,
probably
like,
don't even recognize some of the food.
Some of the food is totally new. You're trying to read the labels and trying to figure out what even is this, or like, you know, I'm sure, you know, one thing that was interesting was like here in America we're so freaking lazy, and the cashier does everything for you. Like for example, when you buy fruit, you just put it in the little bag and they go to the register, type in the little code, weigh it, and that they spit out the price. But in a lot of stores, especially in Italy, you actually bag your own little you know, fruit or whatever, and you stick it on a scale, and then it actually prints out a little label for you, and you stick the label on the fruit. And then that's what the cashier scans. So it speeds up the process at the register, but like if you don't know that ahead of time, you're gonna look like an idiot. So like, where's your sticker? And that's just the way things are over there. But to me, I'm like, what the heck? Luckily, when the first time I went to the store, I was with my host parent, and like I saw him do it. I'm like, what is that? And he's like, you don't have that in America? I'm like, no.
Really?
Yeah. And so there's like little quirks and little things, like, so, and you know, even trying to speak Spanish with the cashier or whatever, like,
what's difficult?
You know, or even like, and all you got to do is say like hi and thank you, really, you know. But they might ask you a question like that you don't know what the answer is, and you just have to smile and like nod, or maybe like. You know, you're dealing with different money too. You know, you're dealing with a lot of coins. Like in America, we don't deal with that many coins. And you know, I was getting paid in cash as an au pair, so like I had a lot of cash on me, and I was having to like figure out what the total was going to be, before I got to the register, so I didn't look like an idiot trying to figure out what the money situation.
Yeah.
And
That's kind of there's something I can relate kind of like that was when I went to New York last May by myself. That was my first time up there. And it was the first trip I've ever taken by myself in a brand new city that I've never been to.
That's cool.
So I was just, and I have some cousins up there. That's who I stayed with, but they had work the entire time I was there. So I was basically on my own.
That's sick. So what'd you end up doing? Just kind of exploring and stuff?
I went up there because this modeling agency was interested in me, but I mean, I kind of like got carried away and just like experiencing New York that I didn't really like take that serious. I kind of like just I had to figure out the subway system on my own. Yeah, and that's a trip. Being in Atlanta, being from Atlanta, and you have MARTA that's so simple. Yeah, and going into like a world class subway system that you have to use. I mean, you live in Atlanta and you have a car, and like MARTA's like an option, like exactly, and it's like a low income option. Like when you think of MARTA, you think of homeless people, you think of people that live in the city, maybe people that commute to work. Exactly, yeah. And pretty much MARTA's just like a cross. Like there's not very many places you can really go on MARTA. Yeah, it's never really that crowded, honestly. Like the New York subway system was so crowded that there was like times where like I could barely even get in the door because everyone uses it. I mean, there's people that live in New York that don't even own cars. They probably just use the subway. And, I think the majority, because you have to pay for parking when you live there. Yeah, exactly. And I actually got to talking with someone recently where they were saying they would have to park on one side of the street, and then at a certain time in the morning, like at 6 a.m., they'd actually have to move their car to another spot so that the street sweepers could clean the street. And if you're still parked there, you get a fine. Yeah, it's just a crazy way of living, dude. It's like it's just this massive water hole where everyone wants to live, and it's so overpacked that they literally have to like get people up in the air living. Like they have to build these tall buildings. Yep, exactly. They don't want to go out anymore, so you have to go up. Like that's the only way. That's why it's ridiculously expensive. Yeah, everyone wants to be there. Yeah, everyone There's so much stuff, and I've actually never even been to New York, but like living in Madrid and living in Milan, two world class cities. Yeah. I definitely can sympathize with it because they both have really elaborate subway systems that are amazing. You can get anywhere in the city you want to. Like you got to learn that. People live right on the street. Like you come out of your building and you're on the street. And it's a trip, man. Like living in the city is really cool. I like that. I loved it, man. Like the food up there was awesome and. Thankfully, I had like when my cousins like got off work, like they could show me around a little bit, but everything else was just kind of like taking a risk. Yeah, like that's super cool. Did you go to the Supreme store when you were up there? No, I didn't. I didn't go to Soho at all. Actually, I wanted to, but I was like mainly around like Times Square area. I was kind of just being the tourist for the week. It was my first time there, and like I wanted to see all the But I mean, it was fun. I'd definitely go back. That's really awesome. I definitely need to hit up New York soon. I went to, I really haven't been that many crazy places in the United States, which is kind of crazy, but I've been to a lot of cool cities, like, in other countries, which is awesome. Right. I think a lot of people would kind of be jealous of that, but yeah, New York is definitely next up on my list. I need to hit it up. Yeah, I'm slowly crossing some U.S. cities off. I actually didn't fly for the first time until, 2 years ago. Really? That Puerto Rico trip was my first plane flight, yeah. So you've grown up in Atlanta pretty much your whole life and kind of just stuck around. Yeah, exactly. That's cool. Until recently when I met my girlfriend, she's like a big travel head. She just That's awesome. She likes to travel. In the last 2 years, we went to Chicago, Santa Monica, LA. Yeah. I went to New York. She didn't come with me for that trip. Miami. Nice. Miami's almost like a different country. Yeah, for real, man. It's a trip. We went for a Miami Music Week. It was a week before Ultra. Yeah. But we didn't actually stay for Ultra. But I mean, it was still cool to experience. Was that this year or last year? Last year. Okay, cool. Yeah. I was there for both years, but I just went to Ultra. I didn't go for the week before. Right. Yeah, we went to. We just checked out some clubs at night. We went to Steve Aoki. We saw some cakes getting thrown. Nice. That's funny. But yeah, man, like you said, Miami was almost like a different country. It really is because everyone speaks Spanish. Yeah. All the Uber drivers are Hispanic. They pretty much don't speak English. Exactly. We almost missed our flight home because the Uber driver didn't speak any English. What? Yeah. That's gnarly. So
yeah, that it is pretty crazy, and like that's a similar experience to being in a different country. Like you got to figure out how to communicate with the Uber driver. You've got to figure out where you're gonna eat.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's definitely a trip. And so you said your girlfriend's Puerto Rican. How long have you guys been dating?
It'll be 5 years in November.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We've been together for a while.
So you met when you were 18?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, 18, yeah.
So were you guys in high school still, or what?
Yeah, we went to the same high school together, but we kind of butted heads a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it was until after high school we had a mutual friend and we started hanging out a little more, and then we just hit it off from there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that tends to happen a lot, actually. Like one of my good friends, like in middle school, we like always were like we would sit next to each other and like mess with each other and like I don't know, do stupid middle school shit. But then like in high school we became like good friends, which is cool.
Yeah, you just gotta, I guess, like growing up you kind of just change,
Yeah, and that's like one thing that I like love exploring as far as like a topic is like how you change from when you're a kid to like how you become the adult that you are now,
Exactly.
like, and so like for you it seems like skateboard culture and kind of like music maybe and all that kind of stuff. So we kind of like hit on traveling a lot. Let's go back for a second. So you were like, so in high school you started skateboarding, is that what it was, or like middle school, or what?
Yeah, freshman year of high school.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So like throughout high school you just got progressively better and stuff. Mm-hmm. Nice. And you've lived in this house pretty much the whole time, or was it a different house?
Yeah, I used to live in Norcross.
Okay, yeah, I remember you telling me that.
But then I like moved to this house where I am when I was I think around 10 years old.
Okay, gotcha.
Mistaken.
Why'd you guys move? Just cause?
I think the reason was because like my brother and sister, we needed a bigger house.
Gotcha.
We had a family of 5, so we needed something bigger.
Yeah.
And we found this place. I mean, we have 4.5 acres, and my mom and dad kind of thought it was like a good investment because this area is blowing up.
Yeah, for sure.
With
Yeah, we're up here in Buford, and I don't want to give too much away. I don't want you to get stalked or anything, but. Yeah, when I was pulling up to the house, it was like, I was like, where the heck am I going? There's like a dirt road and it turns into gravel. And, there's like on the left, there was like some kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it, like a farm or a barn or something.
Red barn.
Yeah, a little barn. And, I had some friends growing up that kind of lived on a similar situation where you kind of head down this kind of unmarked road, and then all of a sudden you're at this cool house.
Right.
And I pulled up and I'm like, whoa, this house is cool. Did you guys like ride dirt bikes and stuff growing up?
Yeah, that's hilarious. You said that.
That's so awesome.
Me and my brother both had one. He had a little Honda 50.
Oh,
and I had a little 100. We have the perfect yard to just do laps around,
Totally, dude. Did you guys like build ramps and stuff?
Yeah, little ones down there across the street when you first came in.
Dude, that's so sick.
That's one thing I wanted to get into because
motocross?
Yeah.
It's a dangerous sport, and it's an expensive sport, but it's fun.
And like I kind of felt like I was a little too tall for it because a lot of those motocross riders are like 5'5", I think.
And you can be a little top heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that is kind of true. That's like a sport where that's a kind of a sport where being tall is not that big of an advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of funny. There's not many. Most of the time, it's pretty good to be tall. I wouldn't know much about that. I'm not that tall. But I kind of touched on that a little bit in one of my other podcasts. Is like it's interesting how much of like how you associate yourself with like your physical body. Like you've never probably experienced what it's like to be short. Like I'm sure all the time people are making comments about how tall you are.
Yeah.
And like, oh, how's the weather up there? Like
exactly.
Oh,
and it's funny because
tall enough to ride the roller coaster. Just like goofy.
Yeah. Like when I was younger, I wanted to be shorter actually.
Which is weird because I'm sure that like for
changed.
Me. I would rather be taller, but now you appreciate being tall.
Yeah. I guess like when I was younger, I was like, man, like I don't know why I'm so tall. Like I wish like I was a lot taller than all my friends, so I felt like kind of weird.
Yeah.
And now that like
you're kind of lanky and skinny.
Yeah, and I guess like the older I got, like I was like, damn, I guess the chicks dig tall guys.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I appreciate it.
I'm jealous. Yeah, like you definitely have a bigger market when you're taller because like girls don't want to be with a guy that's like shorter than them. I feel like if you find the right girl though, like if I found the right girl that was a little bit taller than me, it could definitely work.
Yeah. I mean,
I would be a little bit self-conscious, but I think I'd get over it.
Yeah.
That's just one of those things you can't help.
Yeah.
And like people really get, associate a lot with that. Like you see on people's like Tinder bios and stuff, like their height.
They'll probably put something taller than what they really are.
You know what's funny is when I was on Tinder in other countries, they would measure in like centimeters and stuff.
Oh, really?
Which is funny because like There's not, in whatever, what the heck, I'm seeming like such an idiot right now. Whatever our system is, the feet, inches, whatever. What's it called?
Yeah.
It's not the metric system. It's the other one. I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah, I'm drawing
I'll think
a
of it
blank.
later. But I seem so dumb. What's up? But so like we have inches, and then we have feet, and then we've got yards.
Yeah.
And they have like centimeters. And then it just jumps to meters. There's no like foot. There's no equivalent to the foot.
Okay.
Because we have a foot that's 12 inches.
Jeez.
Our whole system is built on 12s.
Big.
What's another weird thing that I noticed is like 12s. That's where we have like a dozen of something.
Yeah.
Like we have a dozen eggs. Like over in other countries, they don't have a dozen. They just have 10.
Oh, really?
Like you buy 10 eggs. And I'm like, where's the like I want 12. Like it was just
dozen
weird.
Donuts.
Yeah,
and
dozen
10
donuts. You get 10.
Exactly.
10's a good round number.
Yeah.
You get 3 rows of 5 or 2 rows of 5.
You so like I follow this like workout little Facebook group.
Yeah.
On Facebook where everyone just kind of like shares tips and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's guys that live in like other countries and they go and instead
Kilograms.
of pounds they do kilograms, and it's so hard to like convert and like. I mean, it's not hard.
It's
you know
like
what I mean?
2.2, I think, is what it is. 2.2
okay.
kilos is 1 pound. I'm pretty sure. I remember because when I was in Spain, I was using like my host dad's like workout set, and I was always trying to calculate what I was actually lifting and stuff because it was all in kilos.
Yeah.
But what's funny is a lot of powerlifters, because powerlifting is like a Olympic sport.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of powerlifters strictly just go by the kilos,
Oh,
because
really?
like a lot of the plates, like they're color coded.
Okay.
And so it's cool because I learned this when I was in Colorado. I went to the Olympic training facility out there, and the tour guide was explaining to us that all those bumper plates you see when people are powerlifting, like doing like big deadlifts or whatever, they're all color coded because if you have a Japanese person that's about to go lift, and an American dude that's about to go lift, they're not going to use like the plates that have the Japanese writing or the plates that have the English writing or whatever. They're just going to know how much it weighs just by the color.
Gotcha.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was very
That makes
smart.
sense,
There's just
yeah.
like a universal color coded system that transcends numbers or language.
They probably talk shit like, "Oh, you haven't reached yellow yet."
That's so true. Bro, I just lifted 2 greens and a yellow, bitch. Get on my level. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I hadn't thought about it like that. But yeah, it's true. Like, it's when you go to a different country or you're experiencing different stuff, it's like everything is the same but different.
Yeah.
Like all the plugs that you plug into the wall, it's the same thing,
concept,
but it's different.
Different shape.
Yeah, and like I think that obviously the internet is bringing so much of that together. We're getting, with new technology, there's so much universality being brought to all that.
Right.
Everyone's got USB plugs, but to plug it into the wall, you need a different adapter.
Right.
Like everyone's got an iPhone charger, but like you got to have a different brick to put in the wall.
I wish they would just make one cord for every electronic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Totally. Well, that's actually the dream of I'm pretty much a nerd when it comes to like technology and stuff. And have you heard of USB Type C? Do you know what that is?
No.
So the new MacBooks, have you seen like the brand new MacBook Pros or the new MacBooks? You may or may not have.
Yeah.
So basically on the old MacBooks, there was like a charging port with a little MagSafe thing. There was an HDMI port where you could plug in a monitor. There was like an SD card slot. There's an auxiliary port, And like on an iPhone, you just have the charging cable. And even on the new ones, I don't know if you know this, but there's not even an auxiliary cord for the headphones. Did you know that?
Yeah, you need that special
You just
adapter.
need the little dongle, the little adapter.
Yeah.
So the idea is like one cord to rule them all kind of thing, like you were just mentioning. But the problem is you've also got Android that uses a different plug.
Yeah. That are
so
trying
if you're
to
using
compete.
if you're using an iPhone, like cool, you've got that plug, but what if I have a different phone? So this whole new concept with USB Type C, there's this whole like internet consortium or something where like basically all the heads of, IBM, Apple, Intel, Google, like all these people that are representatives, it's almost like a Senate or something.
Yeah.
They all come together and they all decided on this universal new plug called USB Type C that's about the size of like an iPhone plug.
Okay.
But it can do everything. So it can do power, it can do monitors, it can do Ethernet, like internet out.
Yeah.
It can do charging, it can do everything.
Right.
So the new MacBooks, they literally have 4 ports and they're all the same. They're all these USB Type C ports.
Oh, okay.
And that's it. And people were pissed when they first came out because
Really?
they're like, what the hell? This is supposed to be some kind of pro device. I can't even plug a normal USB into this. Like literally like this type of USB, like the fat one that plugs into the wall.
Your general USB.
Yeah, general USB. You can't even plug it in, which is weird. But, you know, with any kind of advancement, you've got to weed out the old stuff.
Exactly.
And I think that's what's good with Apple.
Exactly.
You remember like the old fat iPhone cord, like the big square one, and then they switched to the lightning one that was much smaller. People were pissed about that.
It's probably the same type of frustration people got when they stopped using like cassettes.
Yeah, totally.
And like went to like, you know, like
cassettes and then CDs.
You know?
Yeah, and then there's all these people. I always laughed at that. Like people that have like giant CD collections.
Yeah.
Or like giant cassette collections. CDs are such a bad medium to collect though, because like they can get damaged so easily.
Vinyls. You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
I think that's the cool resurgence with vinyl is like you get when they moved to CD, it didn't increase the audio quality. Like vinyl still is the best audio quality you can get. And it was just crazy to think about, like this little plastic disc that like scratches a needle. Like what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
my brother's an audiophile, so he's
obsessed with the quality.
He has a huge collection of these vinyls
That's
over
cool.
there, and like three different like I'm not talking about the new like Crosley.
Yeah, because there's one sitting right there. There's like a turntable sitting right there.
Yeah, like legitimate.
Does he have like the digital audio converter where like he can like transfer vinyl to like a digital thing?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
that's cool.
And like we had these friends that were cleaning. They were pretty wealthy. They were cleaning out their basement, so he has these crazy expensive speakers they got for free. They're like brand new. Yeah.
The cool thing about speakers is speaker technology actually hasn't improved that much.
Yeah.
And some would actually argue that some of the older speakers that came out back in the day are actually superior to the speakers of today.
Really?
Like, a lot of audiophiles like prefer like older setups that have like these awesome, you know, I don't know much about it, but some people are just really into old speakers.
Yeah, he has I'm not even gonna try to guess what they're called, but they're the speakers, the black and yellow ones that like everyone has.
KRKs?
I believe so.
Yeah, the KRK Rockets.
Something like
they're
that.
They're like black with the little yellow circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have some friends that are audio engineers, and those are like I feel like industry standard for starting out, you know, making music. Like those are your monitors. And the cool thing about those is like a lot of speakers, they have their own little volume and treble and bass kind of, you know, knobs.
Yeah.
But those are like strictly monitors. They're going to produce like the sound that you're going to hear. So it's not being modified in any way. Mm-hmm. So that when you're making a song, when you export that song, it's not going to sound different on a different sound system. You know?
Okay.
So when you want monitors that are going to sound exactly like whatever's being created.
Gotcha.
That's
so like
why.
what you hear on those speakers is
what you get.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, like you don't want any kind of EQ, you know, equalizer that's gonna distort the sound, because you know if you're listening to them on like small speakers and then you play them on some big speakers, it might sound totally different.
Right.
You know when you listen to some really good headphones and you hear like different stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you want. You don't want people hearing like something different than what you intended.
Right.
So that's why
like songs that sound more crisper than like on like one pair of headphones, and then you use a shitty pair of headphones and it sounds
you use some Apple earpods and they sound like crap. There's no bass. It's really tinny.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that I don't remember how we even got onto speakers and all that. But the USB-C thing.
Yeah.
So basically, is like USB-C is the new evolution of cables. And actually, my computer, I just got a Dell XPS 13. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
Because it has one USB-C cable. So if I want to buy like a new thing, I can buy the new type of thing. But it also still has a couple of the old style USB plugs and like an SD card reader and all that kind of stuff too. So I like still have the old stuff, but I also can use the new stuff.
Yeah, you're set either way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, that's, you know, it was almost kind of user hostile for Apple to do it that way. Like, you know, no one had these new types of things.
Right.
You know, like photographers, musicians, DJs, so many people count on those Apple MacBooks, and they hadn't had a refresh in so long, and all these people had saved up their money and were just waiting and waiting and waiting, and then Apple drops this bomb on them like, sup? All of your external peripherals you've been using for years no longer work. What's up, bitches? Like, you've got to get a dongle for everything.
Yeah, it's like they weren't even trying to ease into it. They just wanted to get it over with and just start with something new.
That's such an Apple way of doing it. It's like it's kind of just their way or the highway, and that's and you know. if you don't like it, sucks for you. You can go
Right.
somewhere else.
Did you see the new iPhone?
I haven't seen the new renders, but like I don't think it's dropped
Well,
officially. But is there like a
I haven't seen I just saw an article
About
the
what
new
to
iPhone.
expect.
Yeah, and they said it was gonna cost I believe $1,000, like even with a contract or something. Like the price is gonna be super high in the new one.
I believe it, man. Like phones are going up and up, and like I was talking with my boss recently, and she was trying to justify the cost of. She'd been using a Windows phone,
Yeah.
but her husband actually worked for Microsoft, and he worked in the Windows Phone division, so like he was super deep into that ecosystem. So like she had one too, so that they could he could help her with it and all that stuff. And when you're a really hardcore Microsoft guy, you are not into anything Apple. But
Right.
now he doesn't work for them anymore, and he has an Android phone. And anyways, basically she got an iPhone, and we were trying to justify to her the cost of it. And she's like, I don't want to spend $800 on a brand new phone. Like, I wouldn't even spend that much on
Right.
a lot of things. But I kind of explained it to her like, okay, think about this. Like, you're buying a computer. You're buying a very advanced computer that's going to be in your pocket, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
It can do everything. It does most of the things that
it's
you
kinda
interface
scary.
with. It is
Yeah.
kind of scary. And the scarier part is like we have no idea how they're using all of our data, and we have no idea how they
Right.
even work, which is kind
Yeah.
of crazy. Like I'm not that much of a geek that I know like how an iPhone works. I just know like the ins and outs of the software, but I don't really know how like the hardware and all
Right.
that works. Like that's beyond me. But it's justifying it to her. I'm like, think about it. If you're going to use this phone for the next 2 years, and you're going to spend $800-900 on it, break that cost down into like per day cost. Like
Yeah.
you're really not looking at that insane of a cost.
Right. That's true.
And the value that you're getting out of that phone, like think about it. You run your business from that phone.
Exactly.
You interface with your clients on that phone. You can connect with your family and friends on that phone. You have an emergency hotline. Like think about it. Like you want a good, dependable phone.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things in today's society you've just got to kind of shell out the cash on.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, the fact that technology is getting so good, like you can actually find some pretty good, capable phones for pretty cheap these days. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Like some Android phones, and people hate on them a lot because like they'll use like their grandma's like Android phone or something. It's a piece of crap. like oh, Android sucks, bro. But like I'm not gonna go into all this, but it's pretty crazy how much of a good phone you could get for pretty cheap these days.
It's like remember when smartphones first came out, like that was like the big thing. Like there's people like with flip phones.
Yeah, totally.
Like the new like smartphone, like
the
touchscreen.
razor.
Yeah.
People had razors. And
now it's just like it's like owning a calculator.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Smartphones are like.
And the funny thing is like in the past, no one predicted in the future that we'd all have these.
Yeah.
They like pictured, they didn't really picture the internet actually, like they pictured like phone watches and like phones in your car and like stuff like that.
Robots.
But they had no one could really fathom the internet. Some big thinkers thought of kind of general concepts like almost kind of like this hive mind kind of thing that we can all interface together somehow.
Yeah.
But they had no idea how it's going to work.
Right.
And I think that we're living in the craziest time period of all time because like when you were growing up, do you remember a time when there was no internet? Like barely, kind of, maybe?
There was a time where,
But you remember probably when the internet sucked, though.
Yeah, I remember when we had the
Dial-up?
the dial-up where it would make that really obnoxious. Yes, exactly. But like I can't even remember like not using it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when I used a computer, it was to play these like stupid little kid like CD-ROM games.
Yeah,
and,
do you remember like Pajama Sam?
Yeah, Pajama Sam
Dude,
and like
yes.
putt-putt golf.
Yes, putt-putt and Pajama Sam.
Oh, yeah, putt-putt. Yeah, not
It
golf.
was putt-putt, the little car.
The purple car
Yeah,
guy.
the purple car guy. Those were cool games. Like honestly, they were actually pretty fun when you were a kid. You'd like drive around and like collect stuff.
No, I
and,
was
like,
addicted to those. I had a lot of the.
Did you play a lot of video games growing up, or was that pretty much it?
I played. All right, so it went Nintendo 64 is what I first owned, and I played a lot of. There's this Beetle racing game that came with the like system. It was like a big package that I played a lot.
Yeah, nice.
And Rocket Robot on Wheels. Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of that actually.
Dude, that game is the coolest fucking game. I swear to God. Like I still play it till today. Like it's
awesome.
It's timeless to me.
The N64 is a solid system.
Yeah, it's like this red. You know how like they had the little.
The game cartridges.
Yeah, the cartridges. Those are red cartridge, which was cool. and
Yeah.
it just had the picture of the robot. But that was one of my favorite games on that. And then I went to.
Isn't it funny how just changing the color of the cartridge makes you
I
want to play
know,
it more?
especially as a kid, man. Like you
Like,
always.
all the other ones are gray. I want this
you
red
always
one.
wanted the like green clear like.
Yeah, the translucent
controller.
ones.
Yeah,
like,
stuff like that was so cool back then.
yeah, the ice controllers. Yeah.
But then I went to GameCube, and then I went to Xbox, and then I think after Xbox, I've been a PlayStation guy since.
Nice.
Yeah.
My parents, like growing up, I was like homeschooled when I was until like 4th grade, and then I went to like private school, and then for high school I went to public school.
Mm-hmm.
And so like my mom, like I was pretty sheltered like throughout that whole experience until high school.
Right.
You know, like really Christian family, and my mom was like super against video games. She thought they were addictive.
Oh, really?
And all this stuff. So really my only experience playing video games growing up was like putt-putt, Pajama Sam,
okay.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then when I would go over to my friend's house, I was allowed to play video games. You know, she can't really stop me, but you know, back home, like we didn't have a game system.
Right.
And so it's kind of like go play outside or like read a book or like, you know, entertain yourself in some way, which in some ways I'm really grateful for to this day because
definitely.
like it taught me to, you know, learn who I was and not just like zone out and like play in some virtual world.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, like I did miss out on a lot of like stuff in
Yeah.
some ways. But I still played video games with my friends. And actually the first like I owned a Game Boy because my neighbor actually gave it to me.
Yeah.
And my mom at first I like hid it from my mom and I had Pokemon on the Game Boy.
Right.
And that it was like the Game Boy Advance SP had just came out, the one that like flipped open.
Was with the light?
With the light, yeah, that was next
the
level because you
best
could
one.
play it
Yeah,
in bed at
I
night.
know.
Because before you had to have that goofy little
Exactly.
like light that like shined on the screen that
Yeah.
like caused such a glare. It was
It
the
looked like
worst thing
that
ever.
deep sea fish with the fucking bulb coming out of the
Yeah,
head.
it looked like a deep sea fish with the angler fish. Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, so like the Game Boy Advance SP just came out. So my neighbor and his brother, he had an SP, and his brother had the hand-me-down Advance, the one that was like more oval shaped. That like it had ABC. It had like, do you remember it? And it had the side bumper buttons, and the buttons were on the sides of the screen rather than underneath. Like the screen was in the middle of the system, and your hands were on the outside.
Yeah, I remember.
Kind of like a DS, but
Yeah.
just without the opening.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, they had both of those, so they didn't really need their Game Boy Color.
Right.
So he just gave it to me.
Okay.
And at that point, since the Advance had been out for a while, Game Boy Color games were still pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So I could go to GameStop and buy Pokemon for like $10.
Okay.
So it was awesome. So
Yeah.
like I played like Pokemon, like
You had the
after people had already kind of
Yeah.
moved on to the next generations, but I had like the original and Silver.
That's the
Silver was a bomb.
OG Pokemon Go right
Those
there.
were the best Pokemon too. Yeah, and Pokemon Go, they don't have all the Pokemon in Pokemon Go. It's
Yeah.
pretty much just the original 150.
Uh-huh.
And I think they kind of did it right launching with that.
They kind of died though, man.
It
Like,
did die,
It was
which
huge
sucked.
when it first came out, and then it just like I don't know what they did wrong, but then it just died out of nowhere.
I think what they did, I don't know if they could have really done much else
Yeah.
because it was like a moment, you know, like there's still people that play it, but the thing is like everyone kind of got their fix. Like everyone was really nostalgic for Pokemon.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of got their fix, and once they got their fix, they went back to their regular lives and just
Right.
stopped worrying about it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, everyone wanted to kind of like live out that dream of being a Pokemon master and like
Yeah.
collecting Pokemon all around the world. But like, unfortunately, playing Pokemon Go doesn't make you real money.
Right,
And you can't actually be a
exactly.
Pokemon master.
It's not
So
like
it was
you
just
get
kind of a
famous
fun
for
fad
it.
for a little
Yeah.
while. And like, it was a really cool moment to live through. And it was cool because I was living in Madrid at the time. So
Yeah.
like, it was weird. I actually went to at the time it was a world record for the largest Pokemon Go meetup.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. Like the streets were packed
Wow.
and everyone was playing Pokemon. All the servers kept going down. I didn't even have service. Like it wasn't even fun.
Yeah.
Like, it was just everyone was trying to catch Pokemon. And literally the police officers that were like, you know, being security, they were literally like playing Pokemon.
Really?
I was like looking over their shoulder and they were playing Pokemon. It was hilarious.
No, I was gonna say like that app like literally brung everyone out of the house and like made everyone react with each other. Like
Everyone got outside.
downtown Atlanta, they even had like bar crawl, like Pokemon Go bar crawls on the belt
Totally.
line, and like like just events like that was like cool
So
for
fun.
itself. You know what I mean?
Totally. And like it really did bring people outside. It was crazy because like I said, I was skateboarding in this park.
Yeah.
And I really do think that probably 50% of the people that were in the park were playing Pokemon. I'm not exaggerating.
Really?
Like, it's full of kids just playing Pokemon. It was the summer, so they were out of school.
Yeah.
So they were like, instead of playing video games inside, they were like outside getting sunburned like with their friends.
Getting
like,
some physical activity.
Getting a little bit of, and trying to walk around and hatch their eggs.
Yeah.
Like that, it was pretty funny. Like you had to walk 10 kilometers to hatch an egg. Like that's a long time. Like you gotta walk a bit. You know.
That's one thing I was pretty good at when I was a kid. I could balance playing video games, but I still loved playing like outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Like I didn't have like neighbors or anything, but like just like make forts in the woods, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But then I'd come in later that evening and play some 007. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, that's so true. Like when you come in at night, play video games at night. That's cool. So you to go back for a second, like so you lived in this house and you had some dirt bikes and stuff.
Yeah.
So like. When did you have those? When you were younger, or like?
Yeah, when I was.
You said you had a 50.
I had 100. My brother had a 50. I got my dirt bike brand new for my 13th birthday, and it was the coolest present I think I ever remember. It's
hard to top that.
It's like being 16 and getting a Ferrari. You know what I mean?
Literally, it's cooler than a car.
At least that's what it felt like.
It's cooler than a car for sure.
So
that's amazing.
But yeah, I rode that, and I had it for a while. I actually like just sold it like probably 2 years ago.
Man, was it hard to sell it? You're just like
not really, because I got so big for it. You know what I mean?
True. It's 100. Yeah, you're too big for it. That's true.
But I actually tried. I found this like vintage motorcycle. It's I think it's a 76 KZ 650 or something like that.
Who makes it? Kawasaki.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I wanted a cafe racer. Like,
dude, yes, cafe racers are so sick.
And like I don't know anything about like repairing and like restoring bikes, so I tried to YouTube it, and I was so confident. I stripped everything down.
So you actually bought the bike?
Yeah, I bought it. I think I paid $400 for it. It was dirt cheap. And then
just to get the experience of messing around with it, that's worth it.
For sure. And like I stripped everything, I took everything apart, sorted everything out. Come to find out there was like water in the block or something.
In the engine block?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
And I did some research on it, and apparently you have to like
take the whole thing apart.
You got to take the thing into like some place and get it professionally done, 'cause I didn't know shit about it, man.
Yeah, and you probably did you have all the tools to even make it happen?
No, I had to buy tools, and that started to add up, and I was just like, I just need to get rid of this thing. But I got my monies back, you know, I mean.
That's cool. Did you sell it for more than you bought it for?
Yeah, but I mean, for what I sold it for,
you basically broke even kind of with the tools.
With all the tools, still got the tools and everything. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, see, that was like one thing that I was actually going to bring up is like growing up, my dad, like, he's not much of like a handyman guy.
Yeah.
And like, he's not like the kind of like camping guy or like outdoorsman kind of like dad. So like growing up, I didn't really get much of that, which is, you know, I love my dad. You know, my dad's listening to this. You know, don't take it personally. Like, you know, that's just who he is. That's just who, you know, he's just not that guy. And like that, you know, that's affected me in other positive ways for sure. You know, but like, you know, growing up, you know, one of my friends, Austin, he had a dirt bike, and one of my other friends named Xander, he had a dirt bike. So like, I would always want to go over to their houses and ride dirt bikes, dude. Like, it was so fun, man. And like, I was always so jealous because like our yard was small, so like I couldn't even justify trying to convince my parents to get a dirt bike because like, where are you gonna ride that thing? You can't ride it on the street. That thing's not street legal. No, come on, Andrew, get real. You know, like that whole kind of conversation. It always was just shot down in like, you know,
no
10
point
seconds.
arguing.
Yeah, exactly. No point in arguing with it. It's just kind of like, I knew it was a dumb thing to bring up, so I just didn't. But you know, I was always super jealous of dirt bikes and stuff because like I was always really into extreme sports as like a fan of them. Yeah. But I was always too much of a pussy, or like didn't have the money, or like didn't have the opportunity, or didn't have the right friends to get into it.
Right, right.
I was super into like skateboard culture in my mindset, but I didn't actually skateboard. And like I was super into that whole dirt biking thing, but like I was a total amateur and I'd only ridden like a few times.
It's kind of like being an NFL fan. Like you like watching your NFL teams, but you don't actually. True. I mean, I don't play football. I mean, there are people who are fans and play, but I don't. I just like watching, you know, the Atlanta Falcons and stuff.
That's true. That's a good way of looking at it. You know, like I feel like, you know, growing up, like playing the Tony Hawk games too. That was another thing. Like my dad had on his laptop. I bought Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 for the PC. Like, so I'd play it on his laptop. Yeah. Dude, that game was my jam, bro. Like, so I know a lot about skateboarding from like playing video games,
Yeah.
and also like I was into like tech decks and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
So lame because like, oh bro, you skateboard? I tech deck, bro.
Did you get like
I scraped my finger.
Did you get like super into that? Like where you could like
I had like I was okay. You know, I could do like decent like
yeah.
ollies and whatever, but I wasn't like to the point of like some kids. But I did have one of the little like skate park setups where
Yeah.
like little half pipe and a little like rail and a staircase and
Dude,
stuff.
my brother actually like do you know about like the wooden tech decks?
Yeah, those are sweet.
My brother like got so into that stuff when he was younger. He like actually started making them
That's
and
cool.
selling them, and like he was into like I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's a company called Black River.
I don't think so.
It's just like really expensive like tech deck company thing, and they
make like really professional
wooden
tech
ramps.
decks.
Yeah, wooden ramps and like actual like
Wow.
little concrete like legitimate like miniature skate parks.
That's a cool little hobby, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely people will hate on you, but like that's kind of a fun hobby. Like bro, get real. You're skateboarding with your finger on like some miniature concrete.
It's definitely something you don't want to get into if you're 18 or over.
Yeah. Dude, it was funny at work the other day. This kid brought in a tech deck, and I started talking to him about it, and he started showing me pictures on his phone.
Yeah.
And he was like really into it, like making all these
Oh my
skate parks
gosh.
and stuff. It was kind of cool because it was like a way that he could get out his creativity, like making the things and stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing I think that really got me into like the whole skateboard culture that I actually was thinking about earlier was the logos and like the brands. Cause like all the, you know, when you
Like
got
the
it,
graphics?
yeah, the graphics
Yeah.
and stuff. And like, you know, I just remember like getting a tech deck and it came with like a little sticker sheet.
Yeah.
Like, you get a toy machine tech deck and you get all the little mini toy machine tech decks. And so like I was really into drawing and art when I was younger.
Yeah.
And so like I would, you know, just sit there and like try to recreate these cool logos, you know. So like
Yeah.
I have like sheets, like I still have them, a lot of them, you know, like notebooks, like full of little doodles of me just trying to recreate these cool like skateboarding
Yeah.
logos and stuff like that. But again, I was too much of a pussy to actually
Dude.
skateboard.
I would actually like when I skated like a lot, I would actually like not even pay attention to the size of the skateboard because
It's
like
all about the graphics.
yeah, it was all about the graphics. Like if it didn't have a cool graphic and it wasn't by a cool brand, I didn't want it.
That makes sense.
Regardless of how good the shape was and everything, like
Yeah.
it was always the artwork that caught my eye. You
That's
know?
cool. And artwork has always been like a big part of skating because I
Yeah.
think the whole like graffiti culture, skate culture is always kind of like, you know, just been hand in hand because,
Right.
you know, I think like graffiti artists, they would ride skateboards to get to wherever they were going to, you know, tag up.
Yeah.
And then, is that the right lingo?
Yeah.
Tag up.
Yeah.
I knew tagging was
Bomb
the right
a
thing.
wall.
Yeah, bomb a wall. I like that. That's cool. Yeah, but it was funny because like I think in today's society, I think the graffiti culture has turned a lot less into you know, illegal tagging into more like how can I make this lucrative and like how can I actually make money off of this, kind of like your brother.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and like, you know, I'm actually very passionate about this. I don't want to keep getting like in trouble for doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and like it's kind of like becoming like trendy to have like a business with graffiti on the walls.
Yeah.
Like Greg Mike.
Yeah, Greg Mike
Like
making giant murals.
Yeah, exactly,
But making
like-
it with spray paint.
Exactly.
Because I think like the meaning of graffiti, people always have a negative connotation, but a mural is like this beautiful
Right.
painting over a wall.
Right.
So it's like, what is what? You know, is it graffiti? Is it a mural? Is it street
Yeah.
art? I like street art. I think
Street art,
that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, that's a
you know,
good-
like
that's a good term,
And like
yeah.
in Miami, Wynwood walls, like all those
Oh, yeah.
walls, dude,
Mhm.
those are so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really into that whole like street art kind of culture. Definitely wish I, you know, I don't know if I wish I would have pursued it. I don't know, like
Yeah.
just because I'm not that great at painting, to be honest. Like painting's just not my medium. But you know, I'm definitely into like stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, and I feel like it's growing a lot, especially in the Atlanta area. Like
Totally.
art is becoming huge.
Definitely. Atlanta's becoming really a cool city to live in, actually.
Dude, yes, I was talking about that the other day. Like, it's made a complete turnaround in
Definitely.
the past few years, and just,
Yeah. Especially with, like, the internet kind of culture. You know,
Yeah.
you get these kind of, like, hipster, Instagram-y
Yeah,
kind of people
definitely,
in
yeah.
there, and they kind of, like, make stuff cool in some
Yeah,
ways, you
and
know,
yeah.
like, in cool areas like you're saying the Beltline and
Yeah,
stuff, like,
mhm.
cool places where people actually want to hang out.
Right.
That was what I loved about living in like Madrid and Milan, was how much people wanted to like go outside and like be with each other, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I would love about New York. I've never been there, but like I know a lot about it, kind of, you know?
Yeah.
And like, you know, everyone's holed up in these tiny apartments, so people don't spend much time inside in their house. like if they're gonna hang out with their friends, they're not gonna like, hey, come over to my apartment. They're
Yeah.
gonna like go to a bar, like go to the
Coffee
park,
shop or
go to a
something.
coffee
Yeah.
shop or something like that. Exactly, where like and like ride the subway. Let's ride the subway and go to this place. And I think that human interaction is what people really love too.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
you
Yeah.
got the rich people working on Wall Street that you know take the subway too. And you've got the guy that's a homeless guy taking the subway. And
Right.
they're all crammed in this
Exactly.
weird tube together. And you don't get that in Atlanta. I think I was
Yeah.
talking to my friend Adam kind of about that. We actually discussed kind of a similar thing on our podcast. He was actually the first episode. And we were kind of talking about how, like, living in a big city has that effect on you, for sure.
Right.
But so to kind of get back, like, we kind of just went down, like, a huge rabbit hole, but I loved having that, you know, dialogue. So kind of to get back to, like, your life and stuff. So you grew up in Norcross, and then you moved to this house, and you kind of lived here ever since, pretty much, or like what happened? And you know, not to be like super personal, but are your parents still together, or like
No,
what's the family situation?
I'm living with my mom right now.
Yeah.
This is at this house. My dad lives over in Hall County.
Gotcha. And like if you don't want to talk about it, that's cool. But like if you want to talk about it,
there's no worries. But like I told you earlier, like we're
trying to
actually
move.
planning to move downtown.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
this is a pretty big house.
We live close, but it's still, you know, like a 40-minute drive. And
Yeah,
if
we're
there's
out in the
traffic,
suburbs of Atlanta. If you don't
Yeah.
know, basically we're out in like Beaufort area, so it's not close to Atlanta, but it's not far.
Exactly. So
It's just enough of a pain in the ass that you want to move closer.
and like from what you've seen, like we're looking at like kind of like a miniature farm type of house.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
We want
yeah.
something different. We want to live in a city now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
Get away, just start fresh.
That's
you know?
cool.
So,
Kind of like how I was saying, people change. You know, family dynamics can change too, and like
Exactly.
you kind of want to evolve and do
Yeah.
something new. You know, you don't have young kids anymore. You're not playing outside anymore. So let's downsize and go somewhere cooler.
Exactly.
That's cool, man. So, you know, so in high school you lived here, and then did you go to college, or like what did you do?
I did one semester of college.
Nice.
I was going for graphic design, but I kind of just lost a little interest.
That's
but
cool. So are you like super into like Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff like
I
that?
kind of wanted to do like logos.
Cool.
For like companies, but then I kind of like faded away, and right now I'm trying to get my real estate license.
Nice.
Because my mom's been doing it for 20 years, so I kind of have like a heavy foot in the door.
Oh, cool.
So
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I was thinking I could get like a good start working with her.
That's
and
awesome.
Get used to the.
So where did
whole
you go
business.
for that one semester?
I went to Linear Tech.
Nice. So you were living here and commuted?
Yeah.
Nice.
And
And you're just not vibing it after a semester? You're
yeah.
just like, nah.
I mean, the graphic design program that they offer, I actually didn't start the semester I went. I was taking like just some core classes because they only offer that graphic design in Cummings.
Oh, okay.
I think, I think it's Forsyth. I can't remember.
One
but
of their
it's
campuses.
it's a good it's one of the other campuses, but it's a good distance away from me. So
Yeah, so it wasn't worth it.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. So,
And
like, sorry, keep going.
no, I don't know, just like expenses add up, man. Like
Totally.
I'd rather just like learn a tool, like, you know what I mean, like
Learn a skill.
learn a skill like
Yeah.
real estate market and like flipping houses, and it's kind of like stocks, you know what I mean? Like I'd rather
Yeah.
learn how to like invest in like
Yeah.
homes that I could like fix
Work
up
for
and
yourself
resell.
than work for someone
Exactly,
else. Yeah,
exactly.
totally, dude. I knew we vibed. Like,
Yeah.
from the moment we met, like, me and Tyler, like, vibed so hard that I was like, dude, I'm going to love this guy. It's crazy that you say that, too, because I'm pretty sure everyone that's been on the podcast so far went to a little bit of college and didn't finish.
Really?
And same with me, actually. I
Yeah.
went for 1 year in Georgia College, and for various reasons didn't finish.
Yeah.
And there's totally nothing wrong with that. And actually, the last podcast I recorded with my buddy Davis, funny enough, he's actually now a real estate agent. So, like,
really? Okay,
yeah, so it's
cool.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
And he has like a crazy story. You'll have to listen to it. But
Yeah.
now he's a real estate agent. So it's kind of cool that you say that. And I was actually just thinking about that earlier. I was like, wow, I'm pretty sure like everyone that's been on the podcast so far like didn't finish college, which is kind of cool. Like,
Yeah, we don't have debt. We don't have debt to worry about.
that's very true, man. Debt is a crazy,
Yeah.
crazy, scary thing, to be honest.
Yeah,
man.
seriously. I
And
mean,
so, like, that's pretty cool. So, like, were your parents still together at that point when you decided not to go, or like, what was the deal?
no, they're split up. They split up when I was 18.
Oh, okay, so like right about the time that you were going to college.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. I
Gotcha.
think they were split up for like a year,
Gotcha.
and then I went to college. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Was that like a big impact, or was it kind of like now I just kind of have two houses, or like was it?
Yeah, I
affect
mean,
you?
it's kind of like an ongoing, like they would argue a lot, and
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting it. It wasn't like a huge like slap.
Yeah, it wasn't just out of the blue.
Yeah,
Mommy and Daddy
exactly.
are breaking up. It was like you kind of knew.
I kind of expected it.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're happy, so that's all that matters.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think, yeah, there's definitely like such a huge stigma with like divorce, and like especially, people always talk about how the divorce rate is so high, and especially like living in the South, you kind of have these like religious vibes, and like a lot of people are Christian, so like it's a sin to get divorced, and you try to stick together for the kids, and like all that kind of stuff. And I think that sometimes like people change, like we were just kind of talking about, and it's like if it just happens that your mom and dad are better off not being together, then
let it be.
Yeah. And the coolest thing is that your sister and your brother happen to be a byproduct of that, and like you guys seem all really cool.
Yeah, like they got some good kids out of being together. So
totally, that's. I mean, I think that's all you can really ask for, and as long as you can maintain a good relationship, and like you guys are all now older, so it's kind of like live in a different thing. So like, were your parents kind of disappointed that you didn't want to continue with college, or were they pretty like supportive of you doing something else?
My dad was more on the chill side with me not finishing. My mom was. I feel like my mom was kind of disappointed, but I feel like once she saw that I was getting interested in like real estate, she was like, "Whoa, that's awesome."
That's cool because she does that. That's
exactly
cool. And you don't need a degree to do that.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
You just got to finish like a class, and
you got to do some classes and get your license, and then you can pretty much just
Exactly.
And actually, this week I'm gonna be talking to my buddy Parker, and he's also in real estate, and he like acquires. I mean, I don't really know the details and ins and outs of his business, but he owns a business where they basically go in and buy these really shitty houses that are totally run down, fixes them up, renovates them, and then either flips them or rents them out to tenants, which is pretty cool. So he'll be on the podcast this week. So I'm pretty excited about that, to learn more about like what he does, because when I met him, he wasn't doing that. But so that's really cool. So your dad was kind of more chill. What does your dad do?
He does like the insides of Starbucks. Like
I think you mentioned that to me actually.
Yeah, he does like the countertops and like basically anything you see in Starbucks, like with the live edge countertops and all the cool little like decorations they do. His company does, yeah.
Wow, does he own the company or does he work for them or what?
He doesn't own it, but he's pretty high up there.
Gotcha. And he's been working with them for a long time.
Yeah, for a while now. They used to do I think they also do Einstein bagels too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So like literally the physical stuff. Like are they designing it too, or is it like?
I believe so. I believe they design
Gotcha.
it.
So they kind of work with Starbucks to figure out what their interiors are going to look like. That's a cool job.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Does he do it for like all Starbucks or pretty much just like the local ones? Or?
He does it for like I believe like this whole, actually I'm not sure. I think like there's like some in Florida. I know there's like a lot in Georgia.
Yeah.
Some in South Carolina.
Yeah. It would make sense that Starbucks would kind of outsource for, they wouldn't use the same company for everything.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So that's really cool. So he's like kind of more artistic, I guess, or does he like?
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
I feel like
that's where you get it from.
My mom's dad and my dad combined, like I feel like that's where like me and my brother and everyone got like all of our artistic.
That's cool.
Views on things. He does a lot of like it's cool, man. It looks like it's like they cut a legitimate tree and just leave all like the sticks and everything.
Yeah.
Like the big limbs.
I think I know what you're talking about, the live edge kind of stuff at Starbucks. I've seen it.
Yeah, and then they stain it really cool, like, and put this gloss on it, and they use it as a countertop, and it looks awesome.
It looks badass. Yeah, I've definitely seen it in some of the newer ones, like where, like you said, it's kind of, you still got some of that live edge stuff. That's really, really badass. I think, I'm definitely not original in saying this, but there's definitely this push nowadays towards like handmade stuff or natural stuff, leathers, metals, handmade tables,
Exactly.
You don't want some, there's like a spectrum, it's like kind of either I want some IKEA stuff that I'm literally just want because it's cheap and I can toss it away when I don't have too much attachment to it, or I want this like investment, like I want this meaty, awesome dining room table that's badass, and I can pound on it, and it's real wood, and I have this like connection to it.
Yeah, that's one thing I've kind of like started to get into, and my brother as well. Like, we go to we sometimes like go to like thrift stores, and like that table right there. we found.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's called a slat bench.
That's
and
cool.
like those go for like.
Those are pretty modern and cool.
Yeah,
looking.
exactly. They're a lot of the old vintage furniture is becoming a style
Totally.
now, and like there's becoming a huge market. And like we bought that for I think $12.
Wow.
And there's people selling them online and stuff for like $800.
That's
stuff
awesome,
like that.
dude.
Yeah.
So talk about that kind of. So like you guys kind of like buy stuff and flip stuff. But you kind of mentioned at the beginning you buy a lot of shoes and flip them and stuff like that. Like, so is that kind of how you're making your money right now, or like
just like
kind of doing all kinds of stuff?
Little money boost, yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely like stuff that I like to keep though.
Yeah, I
you know
feel
what I mean. But yeah, if I like come across something and I'm like, oh, that's really cool, but I don't really need it, I think there's like a market for it. I'll just flip it.
That's cool. Where do you typically turn to for selling like stuff like that, like a bench or something?
Well, something like that, I'd probably try Craigslist first, so I wouldn't have to
Local.
ship it. Yeah,
Yep.
But I do have an eBay store for like,
Cool.
shoes and like little things.
And you've got the limiter taken off, so you can put as much stuff as you want on there.
Or
do you have the limit?
I have the limit right now.
Dude, I literally barely sell anything on eBay.
Yeah.
All I did was called eBay customer support, said, "Hey, can I get the limit taken off?" And they were like, asked me like 3 questions, and
Really?
they took it off.
Okay.
You definitely need to do that.
I'll probably do that tonight, actually.
Literally. So they asked, like, because at the time I was, it's funny, I think this is a cool segue. So I was buying a bunch of, like, pizza slime stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, for people who don't know, pizza slime is this, it started off as this really limited quantity streetwear brand that was definitely had its roots in the kind of like EDM scene.
Dylan Francis,
yeah. And you probably know more about this than me, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They actually sent my brother like a big care package.
Oh, that's so dope.
Yeah.
I was so into pizza slime when it came out because it was really limited quantities, and they had this really cool long sleeve that was so the front of it, I'm trying to describe it for because this is audio, but it was an all black long sleeve shirt. And then on the front of it, it had the giant Versace Medusa head.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
It had the giant Versace Medusa head, and then underneath it said Gucci.
Yeah.
So it was very obvious to anyone who knew that was the Versace symbol and that was the Gucci symbol. And then on the back, there was a giant Louis Vuitton symbol, and then underneath that it said Chanel.
Mm-hmm. I remember
so
that.
it was very heavily hyped for a while. And then underneath, if you put your arms stretched out like you were making a cross or something, like a crucifix, underneath the long sleeves, it said pizza under one sleeve, and then it said slime on the other. And they actually got, like, Miley Cyrus wore it, like Kourtney Kardashian wore it. So it was pretty hyped for a while. And I was able to get my hands on one, and actually a couple of them. And me and my brother were rocking them, and we ended up buying like a bunch of these limited quantities. So what they would do on their store is genius. They would have a password on their store, and if you had bought stuff from them before, they would email. If you were on their email list, they would blast out the password the night before.
Okay.
So anyone who was like, into it, they could go buy it ahead of time,
Right.
and it would typically sell out like that night. It's a genius business model on their end because they had, they'd printed, let's say, 100 shirts, and they could move them all in one night, and they wouldn't have to, have customer support going all the time. They didn't have to have all this, we got sales trickling in.
Yeah.
It was like a hype machine, and they could just sell them all in one day. And when you've got Dylan Francis, Skrillex, all these Flostradamus, all these, top electronic music producers wearing their stuff, fans want it.
Exactly.
And it was cool, too. That was the coolest thing.
And
it was like you could almost get a piece of this Versace thing. Like, so you looked like, you're like, oh, shit, like, I recognize that, but wait a second.
It's throwing me off.
Yeah. And like when people were like, why are you wearing that? I couldn't even really put my finger on why I liked it. It was just cool.
It was like the ultimate troll shirt.
Yeah.
Like it kind of trolled people that are really into like designer brands.
Totally.
Like. And that's what their brand is. It's like a trolling brand.
Yeah, it is. And exactly. That's a great way of putting it. It's like a trolling brand, and it's like pizza slime. Like it's two weird things that you don't think of meshing.
Yeah.
And it started off, I think, as just like a music blog where they started posting stuff, and then they turned it into a clothesline. But anyways, I definitely probably know a lot more about pizza slime than the average person, and it's still a pretty small brand, like in perspective of a lot of things. But because of that reason, I had a lot of extras that I just bought, and I knew they would sell out, and so I sold them on eBay. And so like at the time, I was selling some stuff on eBay, and because of that, my limit, was reached, and so I just called them and I was like, hey, can I get it taken off? I'm selling some stuff, and they took it off.
Right. So you actually did flip. You flipped.
Yeah,
them?
I was flipping some stuff, and actually, I still, if anyone is interested, what up? Quick plug for my eBay. I still have one long sleeve that is actually extremely rare. They haven't done a restock of it in like I want to say like 2 years, but literally, it is a white long sleeve with the Target symbol on it.
Oh yeah.
And it says Chanel underneath.
I've seen Dylan Francis wear it.
Yeah, Dylan Francis wore it, and Diplo wore it.
Yeah.
And then on the back, it's reversed as a Chanel symbol, and it says Target underneath.
He actually wore that for his Tomorrow World set.
Yeah.
In
2014?
I think so.
Yeah,
because
I went in 15 and he wasn't there.
Yeah, that was the first festival I've been to, man. That was fun.
So let's talk about that. So like, how did you get into like EDM? Were you always listening to that kind of stuff, or like what kind of music did you listen to growing up?
Well, my friend Graham that you met last weekend, he actually got me into it. He did a lot of promoting for like festivals, so they would hook him up with tickets.
And that was when you guys were like 19, 20?
Yeah.
Because I guess that was like 2014, so like 3 years ago.
I think. Yeah, I think I was 20 years old.
Okay, cool.
Or maybe just turned 21 or something.
Yeah.
I think I did just turn 21 around that time.
Nice.
But yeah, he got me a ticket and he sold it. I mean, because those tickets go for like what, $500 or something
like that. It was pretty pricey, like $400.
And he sold me a ticket for $70. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna give it a shot. Like,
that's amazing. So you didn't even really listen to like EDM or anything?
I think I only knew Skrillex.
Really?
And he played that year.
Did you know it because of your brother? Or
no, just because he was like one of the bigger names, you know.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I went to that and like I had no idea who I was listening to or what to expect. Turns out to be one of the funnest weekends of my life. Like,
oh yeah,
it was just like awesome with like all like just the stages alone were like awesome to look at.
Totally.
You know, like with I think that
the
year
stage design is insane.
Yeah, they had I think it was a volcano the year I went or something.
Yeah,
like
that was the second. It was the second year, right? Because they did it for 3 years.
Yeah.
The first year was the Book of Life. The second one was the volcano.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the third year was the Watch. Oh,
okay. Yeah. But yeah,
I'm a Tomorrow World nerd.
That was a fun weekend. And then after that weekend, I guess I just kind of like fell in this festival
wormhole.
Yeah, exactly. Where I just fell straight in and I started listening to the music more, like, and just like, you know, getting more into it and like just traveling and like going to festivals. Like I went to a festival in Chicago called Spring Awakening.
Nice.
And that was a really fun time too. We were gonna do Hard Summer out in LA, but we weren't able to get a ticket.
The lineup is so good this year.
Yeah, and those tickets sell out fast.
Yeah, dude, that one's hype.
Yeah.
And it's in LA and there's just so many people.
Exactly. So
Skrillex always pops up there.
But I will say Shaky Beats, the one we went to last weekend, it's probably like hand in hand with how much fun I had at Tomorrow World.
Which is crazy because Tomorrow World is such a different festival.
I know.
Tomorrow World, like so to compare the two, Tomorrow World had what, like 8 or 9 stages. Mm-hmm. Crazy production.
Yeah.
Super expensive. Did you camp?
Yeah, I did camp, yeah.
So you're living on site on the festival. Everything is super themed. So you literally, they're trying to make it seem like you're in another world.
Like a dreamland.
A dreamland,
thing,
you know, fairy tale kind of world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just amazing. Flip the script to Shaky Beats, same deal, 3-day festival, but it's in the heart of Atlanta. So it's not in the forest.
Yeah.
You know, you're in this middle of the city in Centennial Olympic Park, so you got to stay in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You don't camp. And there's only 3 stages, not nearly as many headliners, and about 1/4 of the price.
Yeah.
Which come on.
Exactly, like, I mean...
Well, with VIP.
Yeah, we did VIP, which is...
Did you pay for VIP, or like how'd you get the tickets?
I did pay for VIP, but I will say...
How much was it, like $300?
It was $400. I did the payment plan, but I will say it's definitely worth it.
At Shaky Beats?
Yes, at Shaky Beats. Because like you get unlimited. First of all, you get unlimited beer,
which if
amazing. Yeah, exactly. And if you pay for that, it's probably going to be $10 a can. And
literally, Heineken, I think was $9 a can.
Exactly. So
and if you have 3,
yeah, there you go.
Come on, bro.
And then they get Foxboro's barbecue, which is already like kind of pricey as it is. Like
yeah, you
for
get
a plate
free
of food
for dinner.
Exactly, and you get great. They have an awesome viewing area, which is at the front of the stage, which is so easy to just just walk into.
Yep.
Because that was one thing, like, I will say about Spring Awakening, the VIP was, like, off to the side.
That sucks.
So, like, you're
I've heard
seeing it from a
Electric
distance.
Zoo is like that. You see it from so far away, it sucks.
So, and just, like, the way that, I mean...
Same with Ultra. It's not like, it's far away.
Oh, really?
It's not cool. And Ultra VIP is lame because there's so many stages, and I think the only stage that has a VIP viewing area is the main stage.
Okay.
And I went to the main stage maybe like twice. Like
You did go VIP?
No,
No, you didn't? Oh,
I
okay.
didn't. It's so expensive too.
Really?
It's like 800 or
Oh,
something,
wow.
900.
Yeah.
Dude, because it's Miami. Like Miami's just so overpriced. It's
a
kind of
money
like
pit.
Vegas.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a rich person's playground, you know.
Right.
If you got it like that, then cool. But nah.
Yeah, just give me GA.
Yeah, give me GA. I'm cool. I'm cool with getting grimy in the mosh pits at the smallest stages. Dude.
There you go.
Like the Alsa stage was at the smallest stage.
Oh, really?
So sick, dude.
It was fun, yeah.
So fun. It's the best day. But anyways, continue. So Shaky Beats, you know, VIP was awesome. Free beer, free dinner.
Yeah.
Great viewing area.
Great viewing area. Just awesome, like, great people, like, to hang out with.
Yeah,
like,
we met each other in the
yeah,
VIP.
like, I mean, I've been, like, don't get me wrong, like, I meet cool people at festivals, but, like, just, like, the whole vibe and, like, everyone just, like, how
Atlanta
everyone
has
was.
a cool scene.
Yeah, and, like, the location's awesome, because you get that awesome view of, like, the Ferris wheel, and
Yeah.
for a lot of, like, people that haven't been to Atlanta, I could tell, like, who was there, because they were, like, freaking out about this, like,
Yeah,
view
it's
that we
crazy
were
how
in.
the Ferris wheels become such a big thing.
Yeah, it's like a
It's funny.
trademark for Atlanta
Yeah,
now.
I remember thinking it was kind of a gimmick at first. Like,
Yeah.
there's a little Ferris wheel behind the tabernacle, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, I know, right?
But, like, it's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
I've actually never ridden it, but a lot of tourists are super into it.
Yeah, I've done it once, so I won't have to do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nothing
like,
too crazy, but
yeah. You get some cool views, I've heard, you know. It's cool.
not to mention Shaky Beats, like, the staff was really cool too.
They were.
They're really nice, and, like, I remember Imagine. I'm not trying to knock Imagine. I did go last year, but it was a complete opposite of what I
haven't been to
experienced last
Imagine.
weekend.
Yeah, I haven't been to Imagine because I was out of the country the past two summers that they've had it. So I was in
Yeah.
Italy and Spain. But this summer I'm planning on going. I think the reason why Shaky Beats is so good is because they have a 3-festival weekend that's all in a row. I don't know if you realize that. So, like, they have the Sweetwater 420 Fest that's in the same location.
Okay.
Then they've got Shaky Beats,
And
and
then
then they
Shaky
just had
Knees.
Shaky Knees
Yeah.
this past weekend. So Sweetwater 420, I would say the vibes are more like jam bands,
Yeah.
like, you know, stonerish, you know, reggae, and actually like San Holo. I don't know if you know him. He played there.
Oh,
which,
the actor, right?
no, not the Han Solo is like from Star Wars, but San Holo, he's this DJ from the Netherlands, and he's really good.
Oh, okay.
But he played at 420 Fest, which is random because he's like totally EDM.
Oh, okay.
I saw him at Tomorrowland. I've seen him at like Ultra. Like, he like makes like really good music. But he played at 420 Fest. My brother went to that. And then the next weekend, Shaky Beats, and that's like all electronic.
Uh-huh.
And then Shaky Knees this past weekend, which I would say is more like Bonnaroo kind of vibes, where you're getting a lot of bands and stuff. I don't know. I wasn't really that alternative bands. I would say, you know,
So
like
would you go to 420 Fest or Shaky Knees?
maybe 420
ever?
Fest probably more my speed, just because I do kind of like, you know, reggae kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like there's some of that, but I didn't really go, so I don't really know how I would have enjoyed it. But to be honest, these days, like, you can't beat the crowds and the people that you meet at EDM stuff.
Right.
Like, and I'm like really into that music, so like
Yeah, same.
going
Yeah.
to the other stuff, like I'll enjoy it, but I'm not like super pumped to see
Right.
whoever's on stage. Like, it's cool, but like I don't know what it is in me, but like I gotta get wild. Like I gotta get turned up, and like sometimes those bands just like don't get me that pumped. Like I
Right.
don't know why, but
Did you have a?
just happens.
What was your favorite set from Shaky Beats?
dude, so we gotta tell the story about how we got backstage
for Slushy.
for Slushy.
Yeah.
So
Well, you were back there a
I went
lot
back
for a
there
lot of people. Yeah.
So let me back up. I'll start the story, and then I'll let Tyler kind of tell his share of it. So for my experience from Shaky Beats, so I feel like such a dummy even talking about this, but so I wake up. So back up a few months. My brother gets his wristband in the mail for Shaky Beats, and
Yeah.
we had been talking about it for months. You know, I had tons of friends coming in from out of state. You know, I had, you know, lots of people local that I was going to see there. My squad from Atlanta was going to be there. My squad from all over. You know, so like I was really pumped. It was going to be kind of our like kickoff festival where like everyone's going to be getting together. Atlanta's kind of a central location for a lot of the people I've met. So like, I was psyched.
Yeah.
And it was like a no-brainer that I was going to go. I'd already asked off work, like all this stuff. And somehow I had totally gapped buying a ticket.
Yeah.
I just didn't buy it. I just thought I had in the back of my head. Like I typically like as soon as the lineup is dropped, I don't want to pay. I know I'm going to go.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to pay the like late prices like cuz the price gets more and more as the thing goes up. So I was just like, okay, you know, it's a no-brainer. I'm already going. So my brother gets his ticket in the mail, and I'm like, oh, shoot, like, I didn't get my ticket. What's the deal? And I've been to a lot of festivals where, like, for whatever reason, my friend will buy my ticket, and, like, I'll pay him back or, like, other stuff. So I'm kind of used to, like, someone else having my ticket and, like, kind of showing up to the festival without a ticket and then just somehow getting it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really stressed at all, and I was kind of thinking, like, whatever. I've got my confirmation number somewhere. Like, I'll buy I'll go to the will call and just show them, and they'll give me a wristband or whatever.
Yeah.
So like actually my friend, she on Facebook, she was a promoter, and she was like, hey, if anyone still needs a ticket, I was like, I might actually, I'm not sure, and I hit her up, and then I looked through my email and I found the confirmation number, and I was like, never mind, like I don't need it. So the day of the festival, I'm like, I better like take a screenshot of this confirmation number so when I get to will call, I'm not like searching through my emails. So I go find it, and turns out it was the confirmation number from last year when I went to Shaky Beats.
Wow.
So I went last year too.
Yeah.
And just a side note, I think another reason why, so last year was the first year they did Shaky Beats, and it was also like just as lit. Like it was so fun. This year I had more fun, mainly because just of different circumstances and all the stuff, and like I knew more people and all that. But like last year, still really good for a first year festival. And I think it's because their staff has been doing festivals for a while.
True,
so their staff is good. And whereas Imagine, it's like a newer festival, and like their staff is like just for Imagine, and a lot of times their staff is like doing, I think Iris, like another smaller place.
It's like a small little
So it's
club.
like a small little underground rave scene versus this giant festival they're trying to put on. The staff just isn't there. You know?
True.
So anyways, and not to knock Imagine, I've never been. But so I call my friend Lindsay, and Lindsay is the festival queen. I love Lindsay. She's one of my best friends. I think you met Lindsay, right?
She had the Owsle shirt?
She had
At Miha?
she was wearing, can't remember if she was wearing an Owsle shirt. One day she was wearing the one with the mushrooms on it, and like another day she was wearing an Auburn jersey. Can't remember. Anyways,
I can't put a face
Lindsay's
on it.
one of my best friends. I met her at Excision, actually, at the Tabernacle like a few years ago.
Oh, really?
We hit it off, and like we've been like really good friends. Lindsay's definitely listening to this right now. Lindsay, if you're out there, I love you. Because also she hooked me up with a ticket for VIP, bro.
Really?
So I call her, and I'm like, Lindsay, I don't have a ticket. What do I do? And I remember last year, her aunt works for Live Nation and was able to get VIP tickets for them. And I was thinking, like, maybe she has a hookup, maybe she has an extra ticket. I don't know. I was just thinking, like, Lindsay's the first person I need to call.
Right.
I wasn't worried. Like, I knew I was going to get myself a ticket. Like, it hadn't even sold out. So, like, but I was just going to pay more. So I called Lindsay, and she's like, dude, don't buy a ticket. I have an extra VIP for you. And I was like, you're my best friend. You are the best. You are the queen of festivals. I love you. So we show up, we get in VIP. It was super lit. Like, I met Tyler. It was the best experience. So anyways, my mission for the weekend was to hand out as many free beers as possible. Because I was like, okay, I just got free beer and water and food for the weekend. I need to pay it forward to all these chumps that are paying $9 for a beer. All these sweaty people that are all crammed together in the GA. So basically the way it worked is there was this little fence where it was right next to the general admission, and people kind of try to hop over into VIP, and sometimes they get kicked out or whatever. And that's actually what I did last year. My friends were in VIP, Lindsay was, and I had a GA ticket. So I would just hop over every day and hang out in the VIP. Yeah. And I only got kicked out like once or twice. But basically, so I was like, I would basically go up to the bar, get 2 beers, because that was the limit per time you went up there. I would drink about a quarter of the beer and then hand the completely full one to somebody, drink like a little bit more of the beer, and then hand like half of it to somebody and be like, why are you handing me this beer? And I'm like, dude, it's free beer. I haven't done anything to it. I just drank it. Like, Literally, I'll take a sip. It's not poisoned or anything. I'm just trying to give you free beer, bro. Like, it was weird how many people didn't want the free beer.
Dude, I know. I did the same thing and got questioned.
Yeah, it was because people are very suspicious of why you're giving them free beer when beer's $9.
Yeah.
But so I basically just like quickly I'd be like, yo, VIP, I get free beer, like here. And they're like, dude, thanks. Like most of the time, and then I would see them later and they're like, dude, thanks, what's up? Like it was a cool way of like paying it forward. And water. I would get free water and they wouldn't open the water, so they were totally sealed. And I was just handing out waters in the crowd. Like it was great.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, so the way that our VIP tickets were, like you had a VIP for the 3-day.
Yeah.
And I had like a VIP Friday, a VIP Saturday, and a VIP Sunday
Separate
wristband.
days.
They're all separate wristbands. And for whatever reason, the Saturday wristband looked exactly like the artist wristband, which meant that it could pretty easily be passed off for a backstage pass. Like I could get backstage as an artist.
Yep.
And the only difference was one of them said VIP and the other one said artist, but they were the exact same colors. So I can't remember. I think you had the idea, Tyler. I think you came up with it. I
saw it because it was that day you came into the hotel and I was like, dude, you got a fucking artist band on?
Yeah, he thought I had an artist band
no.
on. And I was like, no, this is just the VIP for Saturday. And he's like, oh, what the heck? Like, this is exactly like the artist wristband. Dude, you should try to, like, see if you can get backstage. And have you ever watched that documentary by that photographer, Marcus Haney, I think his name is?
Is that the guy that sneaks into all the festivals?
Yeah.
I've seen that, but I haven't watched it.
It's amazing, dude. It's really good. I'll put it in the show notes of what it's called so you can watch it if you're listening to this. But basically, this dude kind of teaches you how he sneaks backstage to all these things. And he does it in a way because he's a photographer. He just has a bunch of cameras and typically it just works.
Yeah.
And he'll have like a bunch of wristbands on. But the main thing is that you got to play the part. Like you've got to be confident and you've got to look like you belong there. So number one for me, like I used to kind of when I was going to festivals a lot wear like lots of tank tops and shorts and, you know, goofy clothes I didn't mind getting dirty. Neon. I didn't wear that much neon, but like tie-dye. Yeah. And like if you're wearing that kind of stuff, if you look at the types of people that are backstage or the artists, those people aren't wearing that kind of stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
Artists are typically wearing like black jeans, you know, some Converse, some Vans. You know, maybe they're wearing like, you know, a jacket of some kind. And that typically, you know, someone that's backstage is wearing long pants for whatever reason. I don't know why. They're typically not wearing shorts.
Yeah.
So if you're wearing long pants, that's kind of a good thing. And then also if you're wearing like something up top that doesn't scream GA. Like it doesn't scream general admission.
Like some tie-dye cat shirt.
I'm going to try to stalk one of these artists. So pretty much every day of Shaky Beats, I wore this like denim jacket thing that was like kind of cool. Yeah. And then like I wore like long jeans or like, you know, something else. And you were wearing like long pants and like a t-shirt. Yeah. It was like an Ausla shirt. Yeah, so like I think we were kind of like, you know, wearing good stuff that they wouldn't red flags go up immediately. So I walked past the first. So number one, to get backstage, you got to get access to the VIP area, which we already had. Yeah. Then there's like one security guard to get to the backstage, like literally behind the stage, but not on the stage. And walking past him was a breeze. He would just literally just like, you said what's up to him and he just let you walk past. He did not care.
I remember.
And it's almost this kind of, I think, like assumed mob mentality is not the right word, but what's the word in psychology where like the group mentality, it's like if you're already in the VIP, you already kind of belong, so then that guy's less suspicious of you. Right. You know, you've already passed some checkpoints that already kind of prove you're somewhat legit. Yeah. So they have less red flags, whereas like if you jumped over the fence and they saw you, obviously you're going to get kicked out.
Exactly, yeah.
So like walking past that guy was a breeze, and then so then you had to kind of walk around and get past another guard that was guarding the stage. And I showed him my wristband, and I kind of had the VIP part like underneath so they couldn't see if it was VIP or artist. You just have the confidence, walk up, say what's up, and he just lets you in. And before I knew it, I was literally like on the stage looking down. And I think I was the first one to get up there, right? Yeah,
you were. Remember I saw you from the viewing?
So Tyler and Graham saw me, and my brother saw me from the general admission area. And I think I texted you guys or Snapchatted you guys or something. And you got, what was, okay, so I'll let you tell this part of the story.
So I think it was actually the VIP, the front VIP viewing area. And I saw you on if you're viewing the stage, I saw you on the left side up on the like
there was like a elevated viewing area on the stage. So like people that somehow had a backstage pass or an artist pass, they could like watch what was going on without getting in the way of the people that were like working on the stage, which is kind of cool.
So yeah, I saw you up there, and then me and Graham were like being in the mindset we were at.
Yeah.
After we had probably 8 beers, eight 16-ounce ounce
the alcohol definitely encouraged the confidence of that.
And me and Graham have like done this before, so we knew not to act like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
You got to act like you didn't belong there.
Exactly. So
if you play the part and you don't act, if you don't bother anybody, people are you're gonna have so many doors open for you.
For sure. But so we were like, let's go join them. So we walked to that security guard that you said was easy to get into, and literally all we told him was we were with Carl's group from The Walking Dead.
So Graham works for The Walking Dead. He's like a grip, right, on The Walking Dead. And so like Carl, the guy who plays Carl, what's his real name? Chandler Riggs.
Chandler Riggs, yeah.
Chandler Riggs was actually at the festival. And I'm pretty sure like a lot of the staff of Shaky Beats knew he was there.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's a big EDM fan. So he went last year, I remember. So like I think a lot of people were kind of had an eye on him. He had like crew passes. He could go anywhere. So you kind of just said like, hey, we're with Carl from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
He kind of just let you through.
Yeah, so he let us through. He's like, all right, don't get me in trouble. And that's all he said. So we were like, yeah, man, whatever.
It's because your wristbands are the wrong color.
Yeah,
There's the VIP. That's hilarious.
So, and then we went to the security guard on the stage, and it was like some girl which absolutely loved us. Like literally didn't even look at our wristband. She's too busy like getting goo eyes for some reason.
Well, Tyler's over here. He's a good-looking dude. He's tall. He mentioned he's like doing some modeling stuff. He's not the ugliest dude on the planet by any means.
So she's just like, oh hey, yeah, go
what's up?
Whatever.
Backstage, I'll give you access to my back door.
So yeah, we walk up. So she lets us by. And we literally just walk up the stairs and meet up with Andrew and enjoy fucking Slushy.
Yeah, so Slushy is up there killing it. And then my brother somehow gets back there.
Yeah.
And my brother literally had the general admission
I was about to ask.
He had no VIP. My brother's a baller, dude. He had no VIP, no artist pass, just the general, run-of-the-mill general admission pass. And he just got in.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But then he kept getting kicked out, which is funny.
Oh, really?
Like this
I didn't
one
know
guy.
that.
Because where did you guys go? You guys went back down or something?
Okay, so we left a little after like we...
Because you wanted to go see someone else?
No, this is what we did. We walked... All right, so we tried to get a little bit more like serious about it. We were trying to get the actual artist band.
Oh, you were actually like trying to get an artist band so then you would be legit.
Yeah, so we could just use it the whole weekend. So we started talking around and like asking like who we need to talk to. All right, so we get brought into this trailer where like these four... it literally felt like I was sitting in front of like American Idol judges because like it was like 4 people like questioning us.
At a table questioning you?
Yeah, questioning us, and like
that's so
me
funny.
and Graham were somehow like playing it off to the point where like
you had your story synced and you hadn't even planned it?
Exactly. And like it all ended up with them saying like, like we can't like get in contact with the person we need to get in contact, but there's really like no need for that because like we already see you have the VIP bands, you're getting all the free stuff, like
just hang out back here.
Exactly. So they just let us roam backstage, and that was that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the backstage area was cool. Like there was like a little bar for the artists and stuff, and like some nicer porta potties and like stuff like portable bathrooms and like whatever.
Yeah, it was cool to see like the different rooms for all the DJs too.
Yeah, they had like little trailers and stuff. Yeah, where they could kind of hang out before they had to go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool. So, like, me and Matthew went down. My brother, we went down and, like, met Slushy after his set. And we met the guy from Flostradamus. Mm-hmm. And I accidentally called him by the wrong name at first because my brother told me his name was Josh and his name's actually Kurt. And I'm like, Josh. And he doesn't respond. I'm like, Josh. I'm like, yo, dude. And he, like, I think he heard me say Josh. I'm like, damn it. And then I also flubbed in front of Slushy, too, because I was like, Julian, nice set, bro. And I'm actually friends with him on Facebook, like, not just his fan page. Like, I'm actually, like, friends with his real page.
Uh-huh.
And so I know his name. I know kind of, a little bit. And this girl that I know that I met at Ultra, she actually was staying with him in, like, an Airbnb or something during Ultra. And so I, like, kind of knew her who knew him.
Right.
And, like, so I felt like I kind of know him. So I'm like, Julian, what's up, dude? Nice set. And I wasn't about to be that guy that took a picture with him. But then I was like, dude, are you going to Miha's after party tonight? And I forgot that he had an after party that night, too.
Oh, yeah, that's
right. So I felt like such an idiot because I'm like, yo, you going to Miha's after party? He's like, no, man, I'm going to my after party. And I'm like, oh. I'm retarded. Like, wow, I feel like a jackass.
So what'd you say?
Like, bro, I'm not going to your after party tonight. Sup? Like, trying to mess with his brain or something. But I was like, dude, if your set's over, like, when you're done, you should come over to that. And the thing that sucks is we left and he did.
Oh, really?
We went to the Miha thing that night. Like me, Tyler Graham, and like a bunch of people. We went to the Miha after party.
God.
And
I didn't even
Slushy
know that.
and Datsick showed up at the after party that we were at, and we left early. I was pissed. But we were so tired. I was so dead.
And remember, Boombox Cartel
was on there too. So it's Boombox Cartel, Datsick, Slushy, and Miha. And the Flintstone guy.
Yeah. Tell them about that.
Yeah, so we were at this after party in Underground Atlanta at the New Masquerade. So Miha, she's this awesome DJ on Ausla. And she was playing. I thought her set was great. My friend Lindsay that was there, she was the girl that was with us at the after party.
Yeah, I swear she had an Ausla shirt on.
Maybe she did. Maybe I'm tripping balls. But anyway, so I think she did actually. I'm dumb. So anyways, yeah. Where was I going with this? Yeah, she didn't like the set.
Really?
She thought it wasn't that great, but whatever. So anyways, I liked the set. Mm-hmm. But anyways, there's this guy backstage. For whatever reason, he was on the stage, like backstage. This venue's super tiny, by the way. It fit probably like 200 people, maybe. And like this guy was backstage whistling loudly to the beat of the song. Like if the song was like booms, 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 he'd be like
yeah. And not to mention he was grinding on the photographers.
Yeah, he was like grinding on the photographers. He was wearing this weird like one-piece like jumpsuit Flintstone looking outfit. It was like literally the colors of Fred Flintstone's shirt. And it was the most ridiculous thing of all time. And he was whistling super loud too, like with his fingers, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like one of those giant...
He was trying to be the show is what he was trying to do.
Yeah, he was like trying to... And I think Miha at one point like looked at him like with a glare.
Yeah.
But like he didn't stop. I think he was drunk.
Yeah, that guy was wasted.
Yeah, but it was so ridiculous. And then I saw him the next day during Getter, on his stage with Getter. I'm like, what the heck is going on? But anyways, yeah, so that was pretty much our story. But then, so we got backstage then, and then I got backstage during Flostradamus too, which was cool. And saw his like stage setup and stuff. And my brother kept getting kicked out during that point, so it was hilarious. And I was just up there. And then it was the last day of the festival, and the Chainsmokers were playing. And everyone knows the Chainsmokers, you know, they've got a lot of hit songs on the radio. Mm-hmm. But I don't know about you, but the Chainsmokers, believe it or not, were actually throwing down. Like, did you like their set, or were you kind of over it?
I actually saw them in, man, where did I see them? Oh, Sunset
Music Festival?
I saw, last year, and I said the same thing. I was like, dude, this shit's actually going hard.
Dude, I went to Sunset last year too.
Oh, you did?
I feel like we might have said that, but yeah, I was there too. It's cool.
They played last year,
dusty.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So dusty.
Oh, I know, dude. I went home with like black boogers in my nose.
Ugh, dude, I had like black eyeliner around my eyes,
know,
and like
right?
I had a bandana to try to get the dust out of my mouth, but it didn't work. I was like, you would like chew and like feel the sand in your mouth.
Grit.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Ultra's kind of like that too sometimes. But luckily this year it rained a little bit, so it kept the dust out.
Okay.
Which you normally don't want to rain, but whatever. So anyways, yeah, Chainsmokers. So I was watching the set, and I was like kind of drunk, and I'm like, this is a good set. I'm having a good time. You know what would make and it was the very end of the festival, the very last set. No one else was playing. And I was like, you know what would make this legendary? If I snuck on stage again. Did you know that I did this?
Well, I saw your Snapchat story, yeah.
So I just went for it, man, and I went backstage again, and the guy, so I had the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday wristbands on, and I hadn't gone on stage that day because the Sunday wristbands looked different for that day. The artist wristband didn't look the same. Mm-hmm. But I was like, screw it, it's the last day, it's the last set. If I get kicked out, I get kicked out. Like, it's the very end of the festival. At least I tried to do something cool. Mm-hmm. So I'm like confidently walking up. And this guy's like, I'm like, what's up? And I just kind of flashed my wristband casually. He's like, let me see your wristband. And I'm like, all right. And like, you know, I was just acting cool, confident. And I kind of was just literally flipping through my wristbands because I had the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I think I had the alcohol wristband, like the 21 wristband. Oh, yeah. So like 4 wristbands on. So it kind of looked like I was pretty legit, and they were all VIP. I was kind of shuffling through them. Yeah. Like acting like I was looking for the right one, but I was just mainly hoping he would see one that he liked and approved of and just like let me through. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. I just kept shuffling. Literally, I like picked him up and like kind of moved him around, and like I kept moving them, and I probably picked up the same one like a couple times, shuffling them around, like I was looking for the right one. And he goes, "You're good." And that was it. And then I was on stage again.
Dude,
and it was awesome.
And that was like an awesome like viewing area for that.
It was so cool.
Because like they had the fireworks and everything.
And the fireworks, and there wasn't many people up at that viewing area either. I feel like typically the Chainsmokers might invite a bunch of girls back there or something, but there wasn't that many. And I was actually on the opposite side from the other side that we were on last time.
Yeah.
I just went because it was weird. They had it like blocked off to go over there.
Oh, really?
It was strange. But yeah, so I went on that side, and it was cool because earlier when I was there for Slushy, I went down and I met this photographer named Corey that was like actually supposed to be there taking pictures for Slushy. And then he was up on that viewing area.
Oh, I remember that guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't he at the Miha after party too, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And so Corey, me and Corey, like, I was like, "Yo, what's up, dude?" He's like, "Yo, this is awesome." But like, I don't know if he knew that I wasn't supposed to be there, because like he was supposed to be there, but I wasn't like mentioning like, "Dude, I snuck up here, dude." Like, because that's just kind of lame, you know? Like, just play the part and just do your thing.
Tell him about, didn't like something catch on fire?
Oh yeah, at the very end, like they had all this pyrotechnics, and like literally the set's over, they're finished, the Chainsmokers walk off stage, and like it looked like a cord was like on fire right next to the pyrotechnic thing. Yeah, it was crazy, and we were like, "Oh snap! Like something's on fire!" And it wasn't that big, but like it could have gotten out of hand real quick.
Yeah.
And this lady was trying to stomp it out, and it wasn't going out.
Really?
And then finally, she dumped her water bottle on it, and it went out.
Okay.
But I was thinking, like, if it was on electronics, like that just definitely ruined whatever they poured it on. But I mean, I think that's just part of the road. You know, when you're dealing with the Chainsmokers that are making so much money, and like the festival's over, like probably wasn't that big of a deal for them. But you know, probably could have ruined some expensive equipment, but it luckily didn't cause too much of a problem. It was over before it really got started. But yeah, that was a cool story, dude. That was like, and I think that like brought us closer together too, because we were like, "Oh shit, like we're backstage, dude, we're legit as hell. Like, this is awesome." But yeah, Shaky Beats was so fun, man. Like, that was a great time. That was super awesome.
Definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it was hand in hand with Tomorrow. I think it's a little better, honestly.
Yeah.
At least one of my favorites.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool because it's definitely a different vibe, and that was definitely my most fun to like Shaky Beats experience for sure. It was awesome. But that was pretty much it. But like, dude, let's talk real quick about like, you said, you know, you're kind of into like the shoe game and stuff, and you also mentioned that you like model and stuff. Mm-hmm. How did you like get into kind of like the fashion game and like, you know, was it the skateboard culture? Like, how did you kind of get into all that?
Kind of just like skateboarding like kind of introduced me to Nike SB. You ever heard of it?
Yeah, the skateboarding division of Nike. And at the time they were probably releasing like those dope sneakers, right?
They were releasing like the limited ones, like the De La Soul Dunk Highs, and like
there was a guy in one of my art classes in high school that was all about those.
Yeah.
And we actually had to have like a focus for all of our art projects for the year. Mm-hmm. Mine was cars and his was dunks.
Oh, really?
So like he was constantly like bringing in his like freshest kicks. So I kind of got educated a little bit on that.
Okay. But just kind of like that kind of like skateboarding introduced me to like the whole sneaker, like Nike SBs, and like collecting like hyped sneakers, and like just like seeing people's reaction like to like have it like, whoa, like where'd you get those? Like how'd you get those? It's like I was like, damn, that's cool. Like people actually like notice,
they appreciate your shoes.
So I kind of like got a little fix from that, and like then I started to get into like Jordans and like Air Maxes and more like the runners, and then like that kind of like I don't know if you know what Karma Loop is.
Yeah.
I kind of like started to shop on there when I was younger, and that kind of like everything just kind of like tied each other together. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
Because it's all like pretty much the same market, just like really hyped like clothing and shoes.
Definitely, like Supreme just did a collab with Louis Vuitton. Like,
exactly.
So like these like it's weird because typically when you think of high end, rare stuff, it's mainly because of monetary reasons. Like Louis Vuitton, limited quantities, really expensive.
Right.
They have like seasonal releases, but most people don't get it and can't get their hands on it just because they simply don't have the cash.
Exactly.
Like, they don't have the money to buy an $800 bag. Right. They just don't. They're that's just not their thing. What do you think brought this crazy hype wave? Because like this is something new.
Like with Supreme?
With like, I think Supreme is just the ultimate hype brand, but I think like, you know, even you get like, I think back in the day, kind of like Obey. Obey's not limited anymore, but I think like kind of that might have been a little bit. What other kind of brands are kind of similar?
It's just like brands like Obey, like it used to be cool, but like these brands just become like sellout brands.
Totally. They're all over Zoomies.
Yeah. And
Zoomies is kind of gay.
Exactly. And the thing with Supreme, like the people that are running this brand are genius because
so genius.
They've mastered like marketing and like they know how to like release things and they
can literally sell anything with their name on it.
Exactly. Like
anything.
And they do and they pick their like right collaborations to do like you said Louis Vuitton. Like who does collaborations with Louis Vuitton?
I think that's probably one of the first collabs they've ever done.
Exactly.
To be honest.
Exactly.
There wasn't like an outright like maybe they outsourced some stuff and that's kind of a collaboration, but like come on. How hyped do you get Louis Vuitton and Supreme together? That's just nonsense. That's unheard of.
Yeah, like
that a streetwear brand mixing with this high-end fashion brand.
Exactly. Yeah, Supreme really is like the Louis Vuitton of like skateboarding.
It is. So like kind of take me through because like I said, I'm not really in that skateboard culture, but I kind of grew up admiring it. So back in the day, like when Supreme was kind of coming up, it was a skateboard company, right? Like
yeah.
Did they ever make decks? I mean, they kind of have done decks before and stuff, but like
I think it started in '94. I think it was established in '94.
The year I was born.
Yeah. By what's his name? James. I forgot how to say his last name. It's like Jebbia, Jebbia.
I'm not sure.
But it started as a skate company. Like they did like just like hoodies and like shirts.
So they
and,
weren't making hardware.
Decks.
They weren't making.
I think they did do decks though.
They did make decks, but they weren't making trucks and wheels and stuff. They were just making decks and clothes.
Yeah, decks and clothes, and then they started. I think they actually had some shoe models too.
Oh really?
And then they started to like.
Those must be rare.
Yeah, I know. I've never like seen a pair for sale actually, but and then they started getting into like their own like let's expand this. Let's like make cooler shit like jerseys and you know like. I don't know, bags and just. But
their main staple has always been the BOGO, the box logo.
Yeah, the box.
tee.
I think so. Yeah.
It's literally just a white T-shirt with
their logo.
With their logo, and for those of you who don't know, Supreme, their logo is literally just a red rectangle with the word Supreme written in white, like regular, pretty normal font.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, and then they just started to like do collaborations with like the right companies and like, I don't know, like whoever's like in charge of this stuff is he needs to like write a book or something because
Totally.
I would definitely buy it.
Yeah. So like basically, why do you think there is so much hype around Supreme? Like, because it obviously didn't start off like that. Like it has evolved to astronomical levels, and it doesn't seem like it's slowing down at any point.
Right. I think it's just like how much like stuff they produce to sell. Like they
limited quantities,
and
it's cool.
And they market
People
themselves
want what
right.
They can't
exactly.
Have.
Like I mean, they do stuff with Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
you know what
crazy.
I mean? Like for like brands to like, I mean, let's say like if Obey did that, like I feel like Obey would kind of be hyped.
Yeah,
if they did a Jordan collab.
That's true.
At least,
collabs. I feel like in today's day and age with the internet, collabs are so big.
Yeah.
You gotta collab and use instead of like trying to compete with those brands. Like, oh, we're better than Jordan brand. Collab with Jordan brand.
Yeah.
Make a Supreme Jordan brand collab shoe.
Exactly.
And give people what they really want, because you know, like people that wear Jordans probably are wearing Supreme hoodies. Like
exactly.
People that rock, you know, maybe not the Louis Vuitton crowd, but like maybe they're wearing Louis belts. You know, like Louis belts are kind of popular. I think especially with the Asian crowd, like Supreme is huge with the Asians. Like
so is Louis Vuitton.
And Louis Vuitton is super huge with Asians too, which is funny because Supreme is this brand that was born in New York, right?
Yeah.
And they had one flagship store in New York, and they have one store in LA. It's on Fairfax.
Yeah.
And I've actually been to that store.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't go inside of it because it was on the day.
I've been to that one too. Yeah.
It was on the day that they were releasing. It was on a Thursday, so there was a line that lasted literally hours. I didn't want to wait in line.
Yeah, there's always lines outside.
But the crazy thing about Supreme, for those of you who don't know, is like because there's only 2 retail locations in America. If you live in those areas, literally, you can make money just waiting in line, buying clothes at the store, and then selling them online.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I think that's one of the cool things about living in New York. Like, people that live in New York, they have access to Supreme. People that live in LA,
not just Supreme, but
not just Supreme, but a lot of brands.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of brands, they want to have their flagship store in a cool city just so they can say that.
Right.
They don't even care. Like Supreme is cool because it does have its roots in New York. Like, they did a New York Yankees collab.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah,
like, that's
exactly.
a huge
Yeah.
collab, bro. Like, New York Yankees hat with Supreme on the back.
Right.
I don't even like the font that they chose. Like, it's kind of gay, but
Yeah.
I don't even care. Like, I would rock it if I had it. You know, like,
They also go back to like New York like music artists and do like collaborations with them, like, or like a shirt with their.
they did a
like,
Kermit the
some stuff.
Frog collab,
Yeah.
which is hilarious. Like, they do all these crazy collabs. So like Supreme started in New York, and I think they also have a store in like Paris. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think Paris and Tokyo.
Tokyo, and I think they actually have 2 or 3 in Japan.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. Like, I'm pretty sure they have more in the Asian market than they do in America, which is
Yeah.
kind of crazy. They've got the bi-coastal thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense to have them anywhere else, though, to be honest. Like, where else would they make one? Atlanta? Like,
Yeah,
to be honest, like, Atlanta might be a logical place. Maybe Chicago. Like, I couldn't see a Supreme in Miami. Doesn't make sense there.
Maybe like a pop-up shop.
Yeah,
every
maybe.
now-
Like, in the Midwest, it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
They pretty much hit all the major cities that they need to.
Pretty much.
needed
Like,
to
it's
hit.
kind of crazy. Like, LA
Yeah.
and New York, you kind of got it.
For real.
But so they release like on Thursdays, right? Isn't that when they release?
Yeah, Thursdays.
And so if you try to buy online, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
You won't-
unless
you
you have
basically
those little
won't get
bot things that people use.
So people cheat the system, and they basically have these little bots that they make, which is basically just a string of code that essentially knows exactly where to click on the website as soon as it goes live. So it's faster than any human can type in all the information, and then they can get exactly what they want.
And then it checks you out.
And then it checks you out
automatically.
immediately, and you get your stuff. And they've done lots of measures to try to prevent people from doing that. There's all kinds of stuff, but they just can't really stop it. It's just part of the system.
Yeah.
So the best way to get your hands on the stuff is to wait in line at the stores.
Stores, yeah.
It's the best way.
It's like gotten to the point where it's not just Supreme, but even with like sneakers, it's like it is so hard to just get anything that has any type of hype behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and so like there's all this craze about the hype. I think Instagram has been a huge catalyst for the
sure,
hype.
yeah.
Because people want to flex on Instagram. They want to have the dope shoes. They want to have what people don't have. If everyone's rocking Roshis or something, like like Roshis are lame as fuck now. Like everyone has them.
But when they first came out,
they were hot and they were cheap. So everyone rocked Roshis. Now the Roshi is dead. I will proclaim that Roshis are dead.
Yeah.
If you wear Roshis, you're a mom. You're whack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you might wear them to mow the lawn in. You know?
Yeah,
but
for
like,
real.
but like no one is rocking Roshis unless you got some dope like Nike ID Roshis that no
Right.
one has.
Yeah.
Or like you have one of those limited edition floral prints or something like that.
Or if you just wear them to a festival to get trash.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
I'm not hating on the Roshi because like to be honest, they're comfortable shoes.
Yeah.
They're great knockaround shoes. They have a good silhouette. Like they were cool shoes when they came out. Like to be honest, like I rocked them. But like you know,
Pokemon Go, it died.
yeah, like Pokemon Go died just like the hype waves. The
Yeah.
hype wave comes and a hype wave crashes.
Exactly.
And you know you can try to predict what's happening next. And Nike is amazing at that. Like I don't even think they care that the Roshi's dead. They sold millions of Roshis, bro.
I know.
But that's what's so genius about Nike is they have that perfect combination of everyone can rock Nike, but you can't rock the good ones unless you really try hard.
Exactly.
Like for example, you've got the Jordan brand. Everyone can go to finish line and cop a pair of Jordans, but if you want those, they won't be the hype Jordans. They won't be those limited edition retro ones or like those freaking like sick foam posits that are limited or like some crazy dunks that are limited, like they have them, like the American flag denim ones, like those are crazy. Like, and that's what's so crazy about shoes is like some people are not into shoes at all.
Right.
I could talk about shoes for a long time, even though I'm not that big of a hype beast of shoes.
Yeah.
I think it's super interesting because how fascinating is it that people will spend $300-$400 on a pair of tennis shoes that are designed to be athletic shoes, but they're gonna go stunt on some people and wear them out to the mall or wear them out to dinner or wear them out to a club or something
like the Adidas Ultra Boost.
Ooh,
those,
hype.
Those are hype. I mean, they still are, but at the same time, those are like one of the most comfortable shoes I've ever put on my feet.
Yeah.
They're so comfortable.
Boost has kind of changed the game.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeezy Boost.
Dude, Adidas, like, whoever is running Adidas right now is on fire.
Exactly.
Like, they can't do wrong right now.
They had the help of Kanye West.
Literally, do you ever watch that show on Complex Sneaker Shopping where they go sneaker shopping with the artists?
With the rappers, yeah.
Yeah, if you go back and watch it once from a couple years ago, they're talking about no Adidas. Like, Big Sean did one like a couple years ago, and he had a collab with Adidas, so he was talking about some Adidas, but it was literally some whack shoes. Like, he was talking about, like, I think the Yeezys had just came out, and, like, I think it was one of the Adidas tubulars.
Really?
Like, the tubulars that just came out, which are kind of cool, but, like, not that hype.
Right.
And, like, now, come on, like, they were just dropping heat after heat after heat.
Exactly.
The NMD, all of the colorways sell out almost immediately. You've got the Ultra Boost, all the colorways almost sell out immediately.
Just the Boost Sole in general.
The Boost Sole in general is just killing it.
Yeah.
And now you've got, like, I mean, Yeezy in general, like...
anything he wears will sell out.
Anything he wears will sell out. It's crazy because I have a pair of these Nike Flyknit trainers. I have a pair of red and gray ones. You go on eBay, you can find them for like $120, $130. You try to find the Oreo ones that Yeezy wore.
Yeah.
They're like $500, $600, $700 what they're asking just simply because Kanye West wore them.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even have a deal with Nike anymore.
I know.
That is the power that Kanye West has. Where did that come from?
I don't know. I guess like
how did he become the hype like streetwear king?
I have no idea. If I had the answers, I could tell. I mean, I know he was big with like even like when Bape was like.
Ooh,
I mean,
yeah.
I know
Bape
it's big now.
Died a little bit.
No, it's came back.
A little bit with that Adidas collab.
Yeah,
I feel like.
but like back in the early 2000s, like he was like hanging out with like Nigo, the guy that started Bape, and like Pharrell, and like.
Pharrell's been huge.
Yeah, just like all these guys. I don't know.
Pharrell's low key always been in that game.
Yeah, seriously. He started Billionaire Boys Club.
Yeah.
BBC.
Yeah, which is a pretty high brand.
Yeah, and ice cream, I believe.
I think so too. Yeah, I remember like looking up his stuff at one point and realizing that he came out with those. Yeah, so like all these crazy brands, like people listening to this might not even know what the hell we're talking about. Right? And it is so crazy that there's such a subculture of, and I feel like it kind of came out of skateboarding, a lot of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it's crazy that it's evolved to this like Supreme level where literally people will spend like a couple $100 on a Supreme hoodie.
Yeah.
Like if you're lucky, you might spend like $300-$400 on a Supreme hoodie. Like so let's talk for a second about the Supreme the Air More Up Tempo.
Oh yeah.
Is that the most hyped shoe they've ever made?
No, I don't think so. But
what do you think it is?
Definitely is one of the more hyped items of this season.
For sure.
I mean, it's kind of like, remember the Supreme...
They didn't even drop it in stores. You know when they can't...
Yeah.
Like, they cannot drop it in stores because they know that the lines will literally get out of hand. Mm-hmm. Like, there will be riots. There will be fights.
Yeah.
They cannot control these lines.
For sure.
They are that hype. People want them that bad.
What collab was it when that?
Because they're selling them for normal prices. That's the crazy thing. So when you buy them at Supreme, it's not like they're charging $300-$400.
Exactly.
They were like $130.
That's how there was a lot of madness going on with the Lacoste collaboration they did this season. Did you know they did a Lacoste?
Yeah, and they were dropping it in stores, and people were getting in fights and like jumping in line. They had to go online only with it, I think.
Yeah, is that what happened?
Something, I don't know. And sometimes they'll do collabs. Like, were people in Lacoste stores?
No,
or was it only
I think it was just
stores?
the Supreme stores.
Because I've heard where sometimes like
Nike did it with the Uptempos. They released it on the Nike website too.
Yeah, and they did a collab with Supreme with the Foamposites, and that was an online release only too.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask. Yeah, I remember
that gold like floral kind of cool design.
And they dropped the jersey and the shorts with it.
Yeah, it was matching. If you got that whole outfit, you the hype king right there.
Yeah.
But dude, people will spend like that's the thing. Nike right now is so hype. Adidas right now is super hype.
Mm-hmm. Supreme.
If Supreme did a collab with Yeezy, think about how hype that would be, dude.
Definitely.
That would be insane.
I'm trying to think who was it that they did a collaboration with that was like so hyped because of that. Like the person that they did a collaboration with.
Pharrell?
Oh, Gucci.
Gucci Mane?
Yeah, they did a shirt with him on it.
Yeah, the Burr. Yeah, I remember it had the ice cream thing.
It was right after he got out of jail, I think, around
Supreme
that time.
did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. It is crazy how the collabs really kind of make the brand these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't own a single thing of Supreme. Do you own Supreme stuff?
I just own a pair of like pants.
And they're probably not that crazy Supreme. Like,
they're not. They're just
pretty
some,
like normal
they're just
pants.
some green like chinos.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like work pants. But
that's cool.
I mean, I'm gonna admit, like, I do like buy some things just to flip it.
Just to flip them.
I know a lot of people hate on that,
can't
and
blame
I don't
it.
blame them because like there are kids out there that do want to wear the items. But at the
supply
same,
and demand, homie.
exactly.
Like, you cannot
it's the
knock
game.
that.
It's the game.
It's the game, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I've tried to do it too. Like, I've tried to get the air more up tempos.
Yeah.
I didn't cop them. Did you get a pair?
I got a pair of the all black ones, and
Did they come in yet?
Yeah, I already shipped
Already
them
flipped
out.
them?
I already flipped
Damn,
them.
son.
Yeah.
Were they cool? Did
They're
you
all
ever
right.
try
I
to
don't
put
think
them on?
I looked at them and I was like, it's not really my
worth it.
style. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my style either,
Yeah.
but they're cool. Like,
Yeah.
they're cool because they have so much value.
Exactly.
I think the hype has overshadowed the actual aesthetics of the shoe.
Exactly.
I would never wear
those are
that
some
shoe.
bulky ass moon looking shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about that Cause Jordan collab? Did you try to get those?
Maybe that's what. Yeah, I didn't. Dude, no, those were hard.
Cause had a thing where if you signed up on his mailing list, you could like.
There's a lottery thing.
There's a lottery,
yeah.
and I missed it.
Yeah.
I forgot
it was only
about the
open
time.
for 30 minutes.
Yeah, I forgot
think.
about the time,
Yeah.
and I missed the. So like literally, it's a lottery to have the opportunity to purchase the shoes.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a lottery to
Win a
them.
free pair. Yeah.
It was a lottery to have the opportunity, but
To
it's
buy.
almost like winning a pair because those are those are retailed for like what 100 something, 200 something.
I think 200 and something, but
And
they're
on eBay they're
flipping
going for like 800,
yeah,
700.
exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's basically like winning the lottery for like $500.
Yeah, and if you rock them, I mean, you could still rock them and flip them a few years down the road, worn,
Yeah.
and still probably get your money back.
For sure.
And that's the kind of the positive thing I would say towards wearing hype clothing is like you can recoup your investment a lot of times.
Right.
Because it's so hype and because maybe you have something from past seasons that no one can even get their hands on anymore. Like you might be able to wear a shoe for a season, keep it fresh, keep it kind of nice, and then flip it later.
Exactly. You get your money back plus more. And
Do you
you
do
get
that?
to get to wear the shoes. Yeah, I've done it. I've done that a few times.
Yeah, like the shoes aren't dead stock anymore, but like
Yeah.
you can sell them used and people are
Exactly.
still willing to pay like a decent amount.
Like over retail, yeah.
Yeah, a little decent amount of retail because they can't get them anymore. They're limited.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude, I feel like we kind of beat that subject to death. But one last thing, let's wrap this podcast up. We're over 2 hours,
Really?
dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
dude, it feels like time
Well, I figured it was a while. I didn't know it's been that long.
Yeah, the
though.
timer, the recording I think stops after 2 hours and starts a new one.
Oh, okay.
So we're on to that new recording. So we're like 2 hours 15 minutes almost.
Damn.
But how did you get into like modeling and stuff? So like you were kind of into clothing and stuff in the skateboarding scene. How
and
did that happen?
It kind of like, I don't know. I was blessed with the height and like, I guess some of the looks. Like people always told me like, man, like you look good. Like you should like try this out. So I figured I'd give it a shot, and then
So how did you go about that? Like, did you
I,
find an agency or like?
I tried
what'd
to
you do?
find an agency, and I will say like Atlanta modeling agencies aren't really anything to get started with. It's all the businesses in New York and LA.
Makes sense.
But mainly
and maybe
in New
Miami.
York.
I
Yeah,
feel like
a
there's
little bit in
lot of
Miami. Miami's
modeling in
definitely
Miami.
bigger than Atlanta. Atlanta's
Yeah.
definitely like not.
I have a
even-
couple friends that are models in Miami.
Yeah, but
But for male modeling,
yeah, and that's another
New York
thing.
and LA.
The ladies make so much more money than the males. Like,
yeah,
it's really you can't even like really have it as a career to be a male model, and that's
Mm-hmm.
like what kind of like made me like
yeah.
lose interest. Is like I can't really make a career
can't
out of
really
this.
make
Why
a
should I
career.
put my time into it? You know?
Yeah. Is it? I mean, so like, what kind of stuff were you doing? As you know, you found an agency in New York, or like, what'd you do?
I didn't find one. I visited with some, and they were interested, but I never actually signed a contract.
And did you like do some modeling, like for fun? Or,
I did
what'd
like
you
a
do?
little test shoot, but
Yeah.
nothing serious. Like I said, I mainly just like had fun in New York.
Yeah.
It was my first time
Yeah, because you
there.
went to New York and
Yeah.
did that. Okay.
But so yeah, I mean, I still like help friends out that are trying to start clothing brands. There's this brand that's started in downtown Atlanta
Shout 'em out.
called Lucid.
Lucid. How do you spell it?
Lucid.
Nice.
They actually just started selling their stuff in Urban Outfitters.
No way.
Yeah, and
what kind of clothes do they make?
They just did like a little collaboration with Champion. They did like some sweatpants.
Dope.
Yeah, and
I
they
feel like Champion's kind of
oh yeah, dude, for real, they're on the rise.
For sure.
But they just do
Champion
like
used to be whack.
yeah, I know. But they just do like shirts, hats, just your basic things.
That's cool.
But yeah, I recently did like a little video edit for their brand.
Nice.
That they've been using at trade shows. Like
cool.
I think Agenda.
So like you're in the
Yeah,
the shoot?
I'm like the main guy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't think it's dropped yet. They're still like editing it, but I'll send it over to you.
Nice.
when
Yeah, I'll
it's
have to
done.
check it out. That's tight.
But yeah, just like doing little things, like just helping like friends out. And
That's cool.
I actually just did a photo shoot for Wish.
For Wish. What is Wish?
That store on Little 5 Points.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Just like,
That's cool.
Just like small little local things.
That's cool. How do you like get into that? Like you just know people and they like ask you? Or
one
what?
of the guys, his name's Pat. He actually went to the same high school as me, so he's like pretty big up there. He has actually been like designing like they just dropped Adidas yesterday that Wish did a collaboration with.
Really?
It was
Wow.
like, it's these glow in the dark like Ultra Boost.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. That's sick.
They're supposed to resemble like the most poisonous jellyfish in the world.
Is it those purple and kind of greenish ones?
Yeah, and they have it at the Georgia Aquarium.
Yes, I saw that colorway. I saw this guy on Instagram posted about it, and he was like, "This is the most slept on colorway of the Ultra Boost." Like I think.
Oh wait, I know what you're talking about. Is it you're talking about the purple and the green?
Yeah, was it that one or no?
No, it's not those. The ones that he designed are actually
glow in the dark.
They're literally all white.
Oh.
And you turn the light off and they glow green. Yeah,
That's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah.
That's sick. Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. And how do you spell Wish?
WISH.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Nice.
if you're ever down in that area, check that store out. It's a really cool little store.
Cool. Yeah, I've
Boutique.
passed by and I've never been in there.
Okay.
I'm actually going to be down there this week because I'm going to do a sensory deprivation tank this week.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Have you ever heard of those?
Is that the
So it's like this tank, you go in, you float in this water that's full of Epsom salt.
yeah?
And it literally, the experience of it, you're in complete darkness. The water is skin temperature and the air is skin temperature. And you just lay in this water and you float. And after a while, you get the sensation that you don't really know where your body is. And your brain is like, all you
Yeah,
can
I was
think
gonna
about.
ask, isn't that like what people do when they like trip or something?
Yeah, like you can do drugs and do it, but
Yeah.
like literally, like if you get good at like meditation and like you can actually like get in the zone and do it often enough, you can get into psychedelic states completely
Natural.
natural in that environment because it's so foreign
Right.
and like you're literally only your brain. Like you're not thinking about your body ever. There's no gravity. It's crazy.
What where are you doing that at?
It's this place called Flotus. It's spelled FLO2S. I'm going with my friend Ashlyn that I just did a podcast with her a couple days ago, and I talked about her to it, and she's like, we got to go this week. So I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we're going, and I've been there once, and it was really cool, and I'm going for my second time now, and it's in Little 5.
How much is that?
They have a Groupon where you can get 2 90-minute floats for $99.
Yeah.
So it's about $50 for an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
But you've got to buy 2.
So for an hour and a half, like, are you itching to get out by that time, or is it like, no, don't stop it?
I think it all just depends on your mindset, man. Like, I wanted to do it and I sought it out. So it wasn't like someone was making me do this,
Right.
So like, I really wanted to have like an out of body experience. Like I was just fascinated by that. And like on a natural, no drugs, all that.
Right.
So I was very fascinated with like the idea of going into this tank and being able to like almost like trip, but like
Not trip.
not trip.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit different than I expected, mainly because I am not very experienced in like meditation. And like in meditation, a lot of times, you really can control your thoughts and like not let your mind just like wander. And for the beginning, like almost I would say hour, my thoughts were just kind of racing. And like
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about stuff like, ideas for this, ideas for that. Oh, Shaky Beats is coming up. Oh, this idea for the podcast. Just all these kind of thoughts and like just kind of slowing down, decompressing, and trying to just focus on nothing.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
And I did have a couple of out of body experiences where like I felt like 'cause you're laying down on your back and I felt like my body was like tilting up. Like
Really?
I felt like I was sitting upright. Because after a while, you can't tell what's up, what's down.
Yeah.
Like your senses are all discombobulated. It doesn't matter if your eyes are open, closed. You can't see anything.
Right.
You can't hear anything. Like it's just crazy. And then like I was like, oh crap, it's happening. And just thinking that just immediately snapped me right back into
Really?
reality.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Because I like freaked out for a second because I was like, am I really tilting? What's going on? And then I'm like, nah, I'm just chilling in this water. Damn it, I should have just let the trip kind of carry me there, you know?
Yeah.
So like I think this time I know a little bit more of what to expect. So hopefully, and I've been practicing meditation a little bit. So like hopefully I can kind of get in the zone a little bit quicker and like.
Yeah, let me know how that goes, because
Yeah.
that sounds like
But maybe when I'm down there, I'll check out Wish, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I'm sure, like, people on the podcast are going to be tired of me talking about this flotation tank, so probably talk about it a lot. But it's a cool thing. You should definitely try it. But, dude, let's wrap this bitch up. Anything that you want to, any last things you want to mention or anything?
I don't think so.
Let's shout out, like, your brother. I'm trying to get your brother on the podcast soon, Blob's Art.
We'll have him on here.
Blob's Art. I'm very fascinated to talk with your brother because I'm sure he has a lot of very cool stories.
Yeah, definitely.
He's out in Arizona right now,
Yeah.
hanging out with Skrillex.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm
Arco Santi.
stupid jealous right now.
So, yeah, same, man.
Yeah, but if people want to find you, how can they find you? Instagram,
Instagram
website, whatever.
Instagram is totally TOTALLY Tyler TYLER and then small SMALL.
Just all one word?
All one word.
Cool.
And then my brother is at Blobs Art BLOBSART.
There we go.
One word.
Cool. Well, yeah. Any last shout outs? Anything you want to say?
Shout outs to Andrew for getting me on here. It's my first podcast, so hopefully I don't sound like an
heck
idiot.
Yeah. No, dude. Yeah, and the cool thing is I like. This is what I love about this podcast is it's a platform for me to have like awesome, cool conversations with people without it being weird. Because like it'd be kind of weird of me to be like, "Yo, Tyler,
randomly
let me come
talk
over.
about the things we
Yo,
did."
Tyler, let me come over and talk to you for 2.5 hours about your life and stuff." You know, like that's kind of a weird question to ask, but like in this context, it's dope.
Yeah, for sure.
And like I feel like we would have had this conversation the same exact way, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Besides like explaining some stuff, even if it wasn't recorded.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Which is a cool thing. That's how I wanted to feel. I wanted to feel natural, not forced, guided but not forced.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, we got 2.5.
Almost 2.5 hours,
yeah.
which is dope.
So.
And that's actually about been the average of the other ones.
Really?
Like it's about first one's a little under 2 hours. The past couple have been a little over 2 hours. So like, you know. And when I said 2 hours earlier, were you kind of intimidated by that, or were like?
I mean, I kind of expected it.
Yeah, cool.
But
that's awesome. I think in today's world, we need some more long form content. But anyways, let's wrap this thing up. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our conversation, and hopefully you can use our advice to help you sneak backstage and meet some artists. I feel really dumb because I tried to record this outro already and I forgot to press record. So if I sound less sincere, it's because this is my second round doing it. But anyways, if you want to follow Tyler, you can follow him on Instagram as @TotallyTylerSmall, all one word. I want to thank him again for being a good friend and being so willing to do this podcast on such short notice. And if you want to support the podcast, the best way to do that, unfortunately, is to go to iTunes, the worst interface for finding things. Nah, I'm just kidding. Seriously, iTunes isn't that bad, but I just don't really prefer it. But it's the best place where people find and listen to podcasts. So if you have an iPhone, go to the podcast app and leave me a review. If you're on a computer, go to iTunes and find it. You're probably already there if you're listening to this right now, but leave it a 5-star review. Give me some feedback in there. I would love to know what you like, what you don't like, how I can make it better. And remember, it's my birthday, so I'm totally guilting you right now. You definitely didn't give me a birthday present, so go in there and give me a review. Yeah, and if you are awesome, you'll download all the episodes, even if you don't plan on listening to every single one, mainly because having downloads is very crucial for me to jump up in the new and noteworthy section. And the higher I get in that section, the more people I will reach that don't know me. It'll just be in the iTunes store, and they'll be able to find me organically. So that will be legit. If you want to follow me on my social media platforms, the best way to do that is to go to my website, andrewdeitsch.com. That's Andrew, DEITSCH.com. And you can find links to all of my social media handles and accounts. That's all I got. Episode 5 is up next with my buddy Trey Reed. Trey lived in Korea for 2 years. That was pretty dope, but we didn't even get into that because we went for 2 hours talking about other stuff and telling his crazy story. So you should definitely listen to that. Don't want to give too much away, but his story is amazing, and you definitely need to hear it. Thanks again for listening. I hope that I'll be able to continue my mission of having meaningful, uninterrupted conversations with fascinating humans. But until next time, sayonara, however you say it. Bye.